Greetings, everybody. Greetings, and welcome to JamFet Live on a Thursday. It's the 28th of October, and it's already Thursday. Where did the week go? We tonight want to zoom in a little bit on the question of mental health in Jamaica. Um, you know, in Jamaica, a lot of us we just call it madness. We just say people mad and we treat them, um, we condemn them, we laugh at them, and we don't really take mental health seriously. So we want to look a little bit on mental health tonight. Just gonna allow some people to come in. I can see Talman TV in the house. Big up yourself, Talman TV. Life with Royalty is here as well. Greetings. So we just want to talk about mental health and psychological issues tonight. We're not really going to go into the whole um, demonic saga and the Kevin Smith saga again, but we just want to look at it from an angle of mental health because the fact of the matter is that um, a lot of those people, or even those kids who would have witnessed these traumatic scenes, will be struggling. I don't think that you can get rid of um, certain traumatic incidences. It's not like you can turn it off like a pipe and say, okay, I want to forget that happened, or I want to forget that abuse, or I want to forget that trauma, or I want to forget witnessing that murder and stuff like that. Those are things that are reality. And even sometimes we might get counseling and we are still unable to move on from these traumatic experiences. So we're going to look at the question tonight. Uh, Tallman, big up yourself. Royalty is here as well. Royalty said I'm in ads. I hope it's not no more Duppy story. No more Duppy story tonight. Royalty. Did you click to watch what I sent you? I didn't see it. Where did you send it? Did you send it to my WhatsApp or not? Or my Instagram? I didn't see it, so I'll check. I'll check. So we want to talk about mental health, guys, and you know how we call and class people as mad in Jamaica, and we laugh at them. All of us have some mad somebody in our community, what we call madman or mad woman, or um, you know, and a lot of us used to scorn them and afraid to touch them and laugh at them and make fun of them. If you go on the internet, you'll see a lot of videos of people who are just ridiculing mad people, or people who are disabled, or people who are challenged mentally. Sometimes they will ask them to do certain things, um, you know. And I mean, I remember when I was growing up, I remember this girl who used to ask this, it was a family of them, and there was a boy and his sister. Um, I think they were challenged mentally. And I remember this girl in my district who used to force them to have sex and give them, um, remember, she gave them like roast potato to have sex. And they were brothers and sisters. And yes, we used to say them not right it and whatever, but and I was a child, so maybe I couldn't stop it or what. But looking back now on how we treated um, those kids, I'm not going to say we. Looking back at how this girl treated those kids, then um, you know these kids could probably go on to be traumatized for the rest of their lives when them, if they ever come to their senses or they realize, what we were or people were doing to them. Natisha is here. Natisha says, good evening, host and chat. Welcome, Natisha. Greetings to you. Life with Mika and family is here, saying hello to Tallman. Bless up, Mika. Thank you for that thumbs up now, Natisha. And everybody who has given me the thumbs up so far, please remember to give me a thumbs up. On Instagram, I'm going to have to check royalty. I didn't see it, I'm going to be honest. So I will check to see that. It's there. Big up. And all of us are guilty of mimicking or making fun of people who are challenged mentally. A lot of us, including myself, were guilty, and we never really took um, the situation seriously. And we have Jamaica meets Ivory Coast who is here saying hey. And Jamaica with Ivory Coast is my newest member, guys. So I want Una to give her a very special welcome. Jamaica meets Ivory Coast, our new friend in Canada. So I want to absolutely welcome you, my dear. And so we're talking mental health tonight. And I am just saying that all of us, I remember we used to have this woman who we used to call her Mad Gwen back when I was going to school. And I remember the woman had the audacity to use the pipe at school, right? And none of us who went to that school used that pipe. We went to school, and if we were thirsty, we would rather go the entire day. And in those days, we didn't have bottled water and stuff like that. I remember we would go the entire day without drinking water. And where play stocky or hide and seek or all those things. But because this woman, who we used to call Mad, because she used this pipe, and we were kids, we didn't have proper instructions as to how to deal with mental health people, right? We just call them mad. And because this woman used the pipe, none of us wanted to use that pipe, right? And that is just like an example of how we don't know how to treat that question of mental health. Mamzelle Linton is here. Mamzelle, welcome. Saying hello, family. Thank you so very much for joining us and tuning in. Greetings, Mamzelle. How are you from Life with Royalties? I'm very good, thank you, says Mamzelle. Hey, Mamzelle from Life with Mika and family. Yeah, we just condemn these people and chastise them, and never did we seek to find out how do we deal with these mad people, if you will. I remember going to school, and I remember I think it might have been I think it might have been some parish. It might have been Kingston or Montego Bay. I don't remember which parish it was, but one of these parishes, they went into the town and they took all the people, the street people at the time, and they put them in a truck and they brought them and let them go in like another city. It might have been, I think they took them from Montego Bay and brought them to Kingston in a truck like cows or pigs, you know. And I'll never forget that story. And the thing is, a lot of us, the first mistake that we make, we think that everybody who lives in the street is mad. We just think everybody who lives in the street is mad, and because of that, we throw water upon them, we lick them, we ridicule them, we laugh after them, and we throw the food on the ground for them and things like that. And we do not, and I'm talking from up, from top to bottom, from the top of the society, from the politicians right down to the commoner. We do not deal with mental health people or people who are in difficult situations. Prime example, look at Selene. Look at Selene. The whole world know about Selene and Auntie Donna. And the whole I will laugh and she will go on with her antics and everybody laugh because it was just fun to everybody. But who really had this woman's best interest at heart? Okay, yes, them carry go Bellevue and get that one injection here, so and there, so. But the fact is that a lot of people were just using her for views. A lot of people were using Selene just for the views, including Auntie Donna. Okay? Yes, she was funny and you know, she was vibes. And I agree. I used to watch that program mainly because of Selene, because me did like the antics as well. But deep down, the fact of the matter is that the woman had issues, mental health issues, and um, we probably have not helped her or given her the help that she needs. You cannot be given somebody who is that challenged that much money and not put in place a proper system so that she can understand how to spend the money. I'm not saying it's easy, yes, because these people, it requires a certain art to deal with them. You understand? But we always see Soleil come on, Miss Donna, and them go on and share beg the money, and then everybody a laugh, and it was just big entertainment for everybody. But the underlying issue, the main issue at the time was the mental health. And most people pretty much ignore it. You will hear them say, oh, that woman is mad, you know. But we know we don't deal with mental health cases effective enough. Mamselle says we have to blame society for our behavior back then. They used to tell us that people said duppy on them or obia them. Exactly. Or them smoke lizard tail and stuff. And a lot of us never really got to get them counseling or get them help or get them put them in rehab centers and stuff like that. The only thing you hear is Bellevue, and Bellevue doesn't even have a good connotation. You will hear your mother say, "They make me have to go up a Bellevue for you and them something there," and people make fun of people who go Bellevue. Like if I were to break down depression, like remember one time I almost got mad. That's why I'm single. I'm not think I would have go in a relationship again because um I was in love and I got dumped by this girl. And I never know the reason why the girl dumped me. And I was going crazy. I was literally losing my mind because I said, me know so me not do nothing. I think that I'm a gentleman and me not have no explanation whatsoever. And I used to spend like hours outside our apartment complex just waiting for glimpse her to see her come out of the apartment or stuff. Um, every single day I go there and I just lay wait for hours because I never ever saw her coming in or out. But I just lay wait for hours and hours until one day I said, no, this is crazy. This is I go mad. You understand? But at least I was able to come to my senses and say, okay, I need to just move on. But some people now have the maturity. Some people have the maturity. That's why, like, you will find um, some men are going to kill their wives or their children when them cheat on them and stuff like that because we don't really learn how to deal with emotions and we don't learn how to call out for help if we're struggling with mental health or depression or something. And number one, man is supposed to show them emotions in a public first and foremost. You understand? So me did I go mad. I was literally getting off my head because I just could not understand what was going on. Until I migrated, it was then I got the full understanding of mental health, says Mamzel. And it's so true, Mamzel. I totally agree with you because I didn't understand anything before coming to France. Mika agrees. Mika says it's true. Sil Uncut is in the building saying, hey, Jamfet, greetings to you, Sil. How are you? Uh, Mamzel says, in today's world, it is a fine line, and it is indeed. What is lizard tea? Lizard tail. So they have a saying that in Jamaica, if you smoke the marijuana with the tail of the lizard, it can make somebody go crazy. And I don't know if anything goes like that, but that's one popular belief. Mika Darling, getting love from Sil Uncut. Good to know you're a singer. Mamsel, I'm telling you, I was losing my mind, and I came to it's like one day I just came to my senses and said, no, this behavior is not normal. You understand? I was like, we can't come every single day. I look like a madman. Like as me leave work, we gonna stand up at a strategic angle and just look. I'm gonna see nobody come out and going. But I mean, I was probably losing my mind. It was probably a mental health situation for sure. But Nika correcting. Talk Your Mind TV, welcome. Greetings to you. Yeah, so it was difficult at the time to deal with that because I didn't have anybody whom I could have called to. Number one, I was in France. I didn't have nobody to talk to. And sometimes you just need one person to talk to tell us, say, come on, get your act together. I mean, I was there having a drink with a friend today, and he got this. He got a message saying that this girl committed suicide, right? And then him say, "Oh no, shoot!" Someone said to him, "What happened?" Him say, she did reach out to me last year, and me never really care no mind. So I went. I'm showing me the messages that the girl sent him last year, and the girl was saying things like, oh, can we be friends? I don't have any friends. My family turn them back on me, and think like so. The text messages were a bit to that effect, and so this was on Facebook, and him saying no, he meet the girl already, and eventually the girl said to him, "Can I get your WhatsApp number?" And that was where him not answer the girl at all, and maybe she was just so desperate, crying out for help. And no, she committed suicide. Silly saying she's good. I'm good as well, Sil. I'm great actually. I'm on holiday, so that's I'm as happy can be. Obsessed Document TV. A true Jamfet, you'll have to catch up on yourself sometimes, else you fall in a great depression. Yeah, sometimes you have to just. I'm glad somebody talk to myself. I don't know if that's a tribute, an attribute of somebody who is mad. But me talk to myself and me question myself and me ask myself, you know, certain things. So I was able to, you know, pull myself together. But a lot of people can't. And a lot of us are to be blamed because we don't really know how to deal with people who are struggling. Royalty is asking if it's a Toussaint holiday. Yes, it's Toussaint in France. Toussaint was that Haitian who led the Haitian Revolution in Haiti. We celebrate him in France, and that's Toussaint holiday now. Lucky you, Jam Fet. Hope you get some rest and have a little fun as well. Absolutely. I'm looking for somewhere to go. I'm not sure. Maybe Portugal or somewhere. I don't know yet. Now, if we check my bank account first. So, still is asking if it's one day. No, it's 2 weeks actually. 2 weeks holidays. 2 weeks holidays. So yeah, we don't know how to deal with mental health in Jamaica. Um, we 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 ridicule the people them. If we think somebody mad, we are gonna call them name. We are gonna throw a juice box on them. We are gonna throw water on them. If them come at the shop and dip on the pizza, we are gonna run them and say, move on yourself. Right? So we are so insensitive to people who have mental health situations. So and then the other thing is not because me no dip on the street, no means I'm not mad or me not have mental health issues. Not because I'm in a jacket or a tie, I don't have mental health issues because I'm telling you, I have been in the workplace and I have had bosses who clearly have mental health issues. Remember one time I used to work with this woman and she actually bewitched me. She bewitched me in a sense where she was really abusive verbally, emotionally, physically, and me never know how to come out of the woman grasp. We just could not resign the work. Monday morning, 7 o'clock, as you wake up, so you start like tremble and you just start feel like you don't want to go work because this woman is going to call you and just start put pressure upon you. And just, I mean, the woman was off her rockers. And I remember when we go, when we resigned from the company, and that's when she really, because remember, as I said, I was like bewitched. So everybody else resigned, and I was the last worker just there who I just couldn't find myself to leave. One time I tell her, I said, I'm going to leave. And then she started talking to me, and she started crying, and me start crying. So I'm like, that is the extent to which I was manipulated. And eventually, when I left, the woman, we were in the restaurant, and the woman started, that was where she really went overboard. Like, it's like she was showing signs of being, of having mental health. I'm going to try to not call the people in mad tonight. She was showing signs of having mental health issues. But like she was controlling it because she was manipulative. So she had us under a spell. But the day when we come out of the spell and me tell the woman, say, I am leaving, and that's it. And the woman start to cuss, man. And she take me I drink the wine and she grab the wine out of my hand. Come and say to her, say, you realize that all your workers have left you and I am the last one. And I have been carrying the company on my back for the last 2 years. And she's like, no, you did not carry the company on your back for 2 years. I'm going to say, I did. I carried the company. And she's like, you did not carry the company on your back. You did not carry the company. And then I grabbed the wine out of me. Grab the wine out of the glass, the whole place full of wine, and she'll get hysterical in the thing. And then she starts to say, you are nothing but a slave. You are nothing but a slave to me. I gave you instructions and you executed. You were a slave. And the woman started to lose her. She just transformed into this mad, mad, mad person. Like, that was when I was like, oh, wow. Now I'm seeing that this person really needed some psychological help. You understand? And she went on and on, how me was slave and whatever. But I actually had pity on her. I had pity on her. So um I just let it be because I never want sue her or nothing like that. Because I could have. Because you can't tell people that they're a slave and things like that. You can't make like those racist slurs in France. Lot to start is next week, but school closed till the 4th next month on my end, says Royalty. Yeah, I think Toussaint is the first, but we get 2 weeks holidays here. Not everyone can talk themselves out of it. It depends on the diagnosis. Some people hear voices telling them all sorts of things. And Mamsel, that was my first experience with mental health because there was a guy in my district. I was 7 years old, and we went to Sunday school the Sunday. Everything was fine. And like the Monday, the guy killed one of the kids. And his explanation was that he had 3 little men in his head who told him to kill the girl. Right? So that was like my first confrontation with mental health. Come here, say, but nothing can go so. What do I mean by 3 voices in your head to I tell you things? But the thing is, a lot of people have different mental challenges. And if you're a teacher, you will realize, you never have to be a teacher. You can just think about when you went to school. Because never we used to call some kids dunce and stuff. And it wasn't until I came to France and you realized that I'm not necessarily dunce to pick me them dunce, you know. It's because they're suffering from mental health issues. You understand? You can say, oh my God. They were suffering from mental health issues. You can't have some picnic, no matter how you write 1 + 1 on the board, them can't come to the answer that it's 2 because of the mental illness that they have. You have some, if you write THERE on the board, they're going to copy THREE. And if you do 20 times, they're going to make the same mistake because some of the challenges that they have, the words jump on the page. Some of them, the words invert. Some of them have dyslexia. Some of them have dysgraphia where they can't even copy things. Some can speak orally, but they can't write. You meet so many different situations. So many different cases you meet in the classroom of kids who, once upon a time, if they couldn't know the maths timetables, the teacher just beat them, you know? The teacher would whip them because them, you know, them duns. But then coming here and seeing how they deal with kids with challenges, and then I realized that, oh my God, all these years when the teacher licked the picnic because the picnic couldn't remember this kid in my class, no matter how the teacher write on the board, the teacher asking for the short in the book. And him spin the book back and him spin the book forward. And he just can't find the notes. And the teacher would absolutely murder him. But when I came to France, I realized that there are kids who have that sort of difficulty where they cannot write or copy information from the board. The DSM is a handbook that the professionals use, and if you read it, you will see the various categories of mental health. That's what Mamsel is saying. If you read the handbook, you swear you'll fall in love with. You'll fall in one of those categories. Yeah, Mamsel, absolutely. And you have different levels and different severity. Some people suffer from it a lot. You know, like you would say, some people have a touch of madness. Some people it might be a small touch, but some people are clearly in it. You know, like you might find yourself at home and you just cannot find the motivation to go clean or to go tidy up your house or whatever. Sometimes it's a form of depression. Sometimes it's a form of depression where you are there and you cannot get anything done. You can't get anything done. You might have your friends who call you and say, let's go out for a drink or let's go somewhere, and you always say no because you want to be by yourself and things like that. It's actually a form of depression. Okay? Um, you have situations where you just feel sad all the time, and no matter what nobody said, you just cannot feel um, happy or chirpy or stuff like that. Sometimes it's internal depression, sometimes it's external. You know, Life with Royalty says the voices is devil telling you to kill yourself. Exactly. Sometimes it's demonic. Sometimes it's just mental health. You know, sometimes you can have it in just like diabetes running in some family. You can have mental health in some family, and there was a case where this woman was saying that this Kevin Smith figure had his mother and his mother's side of the family had mental health issues. And to be honest, guys, if you look on this man and listen to him talk for 5 minutes or 3 minutes, you can see that he had mental health issues. And sometimes people who suffer from mental health can be possessed by spirits because you suffer from mental health, you don't really have the control over your body to know certain things. So oftentimes you can become vulnerable to being possessed by certain spirits. You understand? And so a lot of times depression is very dangerous, says Mika. It is. It's very dangerous. And when you're depressed, you can fall into mental health. Just like if you're abused, you can fall into mental health. If you're in a poverty, you can fall in a mental health. Stress is another thing. A lot of our sicknesses that we have is because of stress. You know, I'm nothing to do with blood pressure. You know, I'm nothing to do with heartbeat. You know, I'm nothing to do with the thing we eat. A lot of the time, it's just stress, and stress can manifest in so many different ways: allergies, headache, um, insomnia. All these things are like things that um stress can provoke. Outbreak on your skin, eczema. All these things are signs sometimes of stress. You understand? And stress your hair cannot drop out because of stress. You can't in a no relationship because you're always stressed. You can't communicate properly. All these things are things that we don't think about on a daily basis, but in reality, they are serious. As Mika is saying, depression is very serious. Mamsel is saying, yes, royalty, the voices are demons. Absolutely. A lot of the times, people who have mental health issues, them are just like the devil like get a boulevard to possess them, the people. That's like a boulevard for possession. And like worse, if they come under the influence of somebody else who, if you think about it, guys, if you ever have, um, let's say a woman, for example, women, they can get attached to you emotionally. So sometimes you as a man might decide, so, okay, I'm going to counsel this girl. She's going through depression. You're being there for her. She can get emotionally attached to you and fall in love with you to the point where she becomes obsessed with you. Because people who have mental health also cannot control their emotions necessarily. So they can be obsessed. Just like this woman. Um, she who I said was my boss, she is like, I mean, she did look good. She was a nice, elegant woman. And she was like, oh, I'm in love with this guy. So she was in love with this doctor guy who is a surgeon. And because she's in love with the surgeon, she's like, oh, I'm going to go and see the surgeon and I'm going to tell him I want a liposuction on my bum and on my back and stuff, because she wanted to go to take off her clothes in front of this guy, right? This guy was married. He had 2 kids, doctor, respectable man. She's like, oh, she went to his office and she had tell me this, you know. But she go in office and she take off her clothes and show the man where she want the liposuction and stuff. And he's like, oh, there's no fat there. There's nothing to be done. And she's like convincing him to feel it and touch it and so like so like sometimes these mental health patients can get emotionally attached to you. All right. And them don't want you to be close to anybody else. They don't want you to be among anybody else. Them don't want you to have friends with anybody else. They are extremely jealous, and um, oftentimes they try to control you because remember they're a bit schizophrenic. So if them see you with somebody, they're gonna be like, "Oh, I'm gonna lose that person," and it triggers them to do something to probably get rid of the person or to hurt you or to start manipulate to say, "Oh, don't care about them," etc. You understand? Um, yes, I truly believe Kevin had mental issues, and that day he snapped. One guy said he was throwing things. Yeah, the account from the different people, and some of the accounts are sounding a lot more credible now. And they were talking about the fact that they were throwing away stuff, they were throwing away food, in my break stuff. I mean, it's obvious that this guy, in as much as I'm not saying, and I'm not trying to find an excuse or justify any such anything that he did, but I'm trying to say that you become vulnerable to doing things that you lose control of, including being possessed by demons when you have mental health issues and when you have stress. If you think about suicide, nobody who is doing well or who is accompanied and who have a lot of support around them and stuff is going to be thinking about suicide because you're going to be like, no, I have a lot to live for, etc. Once you start to isolate yourself and you start to not fit in and you start to find it difficult to converse with other people and things like that, then those suicidal thoughts will creep in, and it can happen to the best of us. Enough of we, me think me or Tara said or something, that a lot of us with the biggest smiles, a lot of us with the biggest smiles and the bubbly personality and very energetic and charismatic. A lot of us are just using that to cover over the different pain and the different trauma that we probably have been through. You understand? Life with Royalty says, at one point in my life, I was depressed, trying to wonder why people I helped tried to obey me. I would hear the devil telling me, kill myself and things will be better. But one prayer a damn run devil away. One prayer a day run the devil away. This is what Royalty is saying. It can happen to the best of us. Disappointment in people, people's opinions, people abusing us, people talking down to all these things can trigger off stress, depression, or mental health issues. Family situation, lack of father in the home, um, abuse, all these things are like recipes for mental health issues. I'm glad you didn't kill yourself. Royalty says life with Nika and family. Exactly. And people who see Royalty, who type all the time, is very intelligent and things like that. You would never think that somebody that intelligent would be thinking, oh, maybe I should kill myself. So it happens to the best of us. Green Nation vlog is here. Blessings, everyone. Welcome, Green Nation. Lessons Life with Mika says Green Nation. Tara is here as well. Tara J Vlogs. Saying blessings, everyone. Mika says some people just don't know how to manage stress. Stress is very difficult to manage, Mika. Stress is very difficult. I remember the first time me really meet stress, I start get allergic. I was allergic to everything. I was allergic to rice and peas. I was allergic to tomato, black pepper seasoning. If me sit down on one stone, it triggers my allergy. If I went into a house, it trigger my allergy. If me sit down in one settee, it would just trigger my allergy. Why? Because I was just going through a stressful period in my life. And that's how my stress was manifested in allergies. Every night when I just swell up like crocodile for no reason. You just start seeing my lips, them I swell, my face swell, my skin swell, it itch. I mean, I would just transform every single night because of stress and allergic reaction. You can be there hearing people calling you, but in real life, no one did, says Royalty. That's in reference to the the voices that people can hear in their heads. Royalty getting blessings from Green Nation. Hey, Green Nation, sir, how are you? Says Mika. Bless up, Green Nation, from Royalty. I'm okay. How about you? Blessings to your host. Thank you so much for the thumbs up, Green Nation. Guys, if you have forgotten the thumbs up, please remember to give me a thumbs up. Stress is worse. That is the worst disease. You can see someone's face, but not inside them. Exactly. I mean, people will say some people miserable or some people awful or disgusting or these things, but oftentimes these people are going through severe stress, and that's just one way of how they're manifesting that stress. Um, I'm doing okay, says Mika. Mamsel says, yes, you truly need a lot of support. You have to follow up with your healthcare professional and you have to take any meds. Sudden withdrawal from meds is dangerous. Absolutely. We need, and oftentimes we don't even, I mean, every district in Jamaica probably have somebody what we call Mad Gwen or Mad Sam or whatever. How many of us in the district would say, let me reach out to some healthcare professional to see if we can get this person some help? Or them family. I mean, you have a mad person in your family or somebody in your family struggling from mental health, you probably kick them out. You probably kick them out and them live on the street because you have to ask the question, how do some of these people end up on the street? And them have family members. I mean, yeah, probably the family sometimes are upset with their behavior. Sometimes it's probably due to drugs and substance abuse or different things that they might decide to do. But a lot of times, the families, once somebody is going through mental health, you don't necessarily go for help. I had to I had to end up in a big spiritual warfare fighting back because I could not let the devil corrupt my thoughts, says royalty. And sometimes it is a spiritual battle. Sometimes you have to encourage yourself with the Bible and stuff for those who believe. John, anyone can take their life. We don't know what is the reason. One, it could be depression or somebody over you through jealousy or stuff like that. And that is it. There is no, sometimes you will hear that somebody commits suicide and you cannot understand how that the somebody there was so vibrant and strong and have so much degree and so much titles behind the name and know so much people in the government and stuff. How comes that this somebody that can commit suicide? But suicide doesn't have any face our color, our type blood, etc. It can knock at any of us our doors. Me said before, I mean, I wasn't suicidal, but I remember one time when like I was here in France and it was like one Christmas and I was just alone. When I say alone, and the whole of my friend them gone with them family and like in Jamaica, Grand Market, like everybody is out in the streets and you get your jerk chicken and your jerk pork and you play crown and anchor and all these things. That I was new to that town and everybody New Year's Eve, they spend it with their family in France. And me I walk around and me not see nobody. There was nobody to talk to, nobody to say Merry Christmas. And the most lonely feeling just invade my body. I walk, big ass steering man like I walk through the town and I just start crying because I couldn't understand what was happening. Just this sense of loneliness just invade my thoughts. And maybe if I never strong, probably would have, that is something that could cause somebody to commit suicide because you're alone in this world. Um, Tara says stress is one of the most dangerous things you can encounter. It will bring dormant health issues to the fore. It brings on unheard of diseases and health issues that leave you sick to the core. Absolutely. A lot of the times we're looking for doctor. Look, whenever you know some people who sick and then go doctor and doctor can't find out what to do. Oftentimes it's stress. One of my friend, she can't hardly walk on her foot, her knee. And she got doctor and just scan it 100,000 times. And all of the doctors said there's nothing wrong with your knees. And she has said, but me must know if something wrong with my knee because we can't hardly move, we can't hardly walk for my knee. And then scan it go, then scan it come, and they must say nothing wrong. But I know of a fact that this is somebody who is very stressed. She has gone through a lot of stressful things. And sometimes a stress I manifest. And we can tell you, when you are stressed, you're gonna find the more sicknesses and then something else, separate and apart from when all is well. If some depressed people reach out to you, try. If someone is depressed, people reach out to them and try to help. I was talking about the case today. I was with my friend, and he was saying that this girl reached out to him, and she was saying, "Oh, can we be friends? I don't have any friends." And he must look on the message and he must say, "But this is a girl are weird. How can you be sending me a message like that? And can we be friends?" And so he must said, "This a girl is acting strange." But he said he knew the girl. He met her before and so. And the girl is saying, "Can I come and visit you?" And he must say, "Yeah, sure, you can visit me and stuff." And then the girl right now say, "Send me your WhatsApp number." And then he's thinking, no, you know what? This is a burden of this girl who is acting so strange, asking him them sort of stuff. And to them learn that the girl killed himself because when when you ask him WhatsApp number, that's where the conversation ended because he didn't want to this type of message, you know what? And it's true. And honestly, guys, me are one of them people. Me not like the nee. I mean, not like people who always have like the world that come down upon them. Them always are struggle. But I need to work on myself because if somebody, and Tara is saying drop the link. Sorry, Tara. I personally not have patience with certain things. So if somebody call me, I remember one of my friends in the go through one relationship breakup, right? And for 4 years, the man called me almost every single day, and all he talk about is this woman who move on for 4 years. And I'm thinking, when I see the phone call me, I say, Lord God, you can't bother with it, you can't bother. But I still answer, you still talk, you talk. You think she gonna come back, you think she will ever come back and stuff. And I try say, me I try tell him, say, you never know in life she might come back and stuff like that. But deep down, it was annoying me, man. I said, me can't bother, me can't. Every day, my bar, every day, my, you know? And I think it was Tara who was saying that nobody not have no time for them grief. If somebody can't get over something for 4 years, they're entitled to mourn for 4 years. Sometimes it's their choice to hit the street, says Mamzel. Nika says, in my community, a whole family have mental health, and when one go off, the rest of the family act if they don't know, as if they don't know the mad one. That's the thing. None of we don't know how to deal with crazy. I remember I saw one of my classmates, and when we go to Jamaica, I see him. And I see him walk up and down in the town in a dirty rag. Me turn my head. I turned my head because I was so shocked and embarrassed. I mean, I said, no, nobody knows me, know this is a madman. You understand? But it's mental health. Tara says everyone's stress tolerance level is different. And Mamza says some homeless people in Canada refuse to go in shelters during winter. They rather sleep on the sidewalk. Like to, they don't want to be around anyone. And Z-Million greetings, Mama's handprint greetings. Tara J Blogs and Dialogues is here. Welcome to you, my favorite co-host. How are you, Tara?
Hey, my dear, how are you?
I'm
I am
fine.
here giving thanks.
Let's topic tonight is mental health.
Blessings
Uh,
to everyone is in the chat.
Royalty
Mm-hmm.
says, I'm telling you, the devil with his ugly self always active when you're under depression. You have to try to fight back to overcome the democratic force and what they push you to do. The problem is sometimes some people don't know how to fight back. Some people don't have the support, Tara, to fight back. Some thoughts will go through them mind. A lot of people are asking why Jamaica so violent, why the man them beat the woman and kill them. A lot of it is mental health.
But listen, and I'm not feeling my best today. And I was just coming to the chat to give support. And when I saw the topic, I said, mm. And then when I heard you started talking and it hit so close to home. And I said, let me jump up for a few.
Hmm.
Um, Let me take it from where you just mentioned. The problem with us in Jamaica is that we regard mental health issues when the person now eat out of the garbage pan.
Yeah,
Before that, we don't pay much attention. You understand me? So when you see somebody crying out, somebody say them issue, they say, look here, attention she love. You
true.
understand me? You understand me? Some you go through a breakup and it affects you in a way that you think you can't go on because this person was your world.
Right.
And in your head, you already reached the end of the line, say, two want to go dead together. Or two want to go hold till then son no or who fly upon broomstick. You understand me? But you don't see this person breaking, sever ties with you,
Yeah.
going about his business, going about her business. You understand me? Especially if there's somebody else involved. So the man left you for an next woman and the woman left you for a next man. Many
Especially if
people don't end.
the person who them replace you with is not as good as you think you are.
I'm happy you say think
Or you see
because
them doing
sometimes
things
we
you never used to do. Think like you see them going to the movies and you're like, oh, we never used to go to the movies. You know,
Mhm.
those things can push you over the edge.
Exactly. So when it's funny enough when you hear people talk and how they have everything together and they have everything covered. They know the best solution, they know everything. Listen, even the smallest of things can depress people. Because you see, what I can tolerate, you might not be able to tolerate not even a quarter of what I tolerated and survived.
So
And
true.
that is the reason why when people come and make a general statement, as
Mm.
if they know everybody, they know what you have encountered, they know what you have dealt with from the day God put you on this earth coming up. Sometimes it puzzles me because I'm saying, who appoint this person? Where you come from? Who appoint you? Who call you? Who give me docket or give me file? You understand
Yeah.
what I'm saying? No. I heard you said that you saw the young man and you turn your head because you never want nobody to say, are you a madman? I was in Brownstown, St. Anne, and somebody that I used to go to school with laugh talk. I was
Mm.
there and this madman came up and touched me on my shoulder and listened to me, my heart drop out of my chest. Because anybody know I am so fearful because
Right.
I don't play with those people because they are very unpredictable.
Right.
But the person called me by my name.
Mm.
You know who bold crossed the road? I didn't even look if any vehicle was coming. I was so frightened.
Yeah.
And I stood across the road and looked at him. And then when I looked, I recognized who this person was. Listen, he was one of the brightest boys in school.
Yeah.
But guess what pushed him over the edge? From the moment we entered high school, he had this girlfriend. And
Mm.
even after we left, they were still together. No, she got pregnant. And he was so happy. And they planned, they bought, they did all that they were supposed to do. And guess what? She lost the baby.
Wow.
And that was it. That just sent him over the edge, bloop. And he has never recovered. You understand what I'm saying? I had two in my class, and they were twins, and they were Christians as well. So when you see school over in the evening, they were running home because they wanted to take a shower so they could go to church and do their, duties. And I was in Brownstown, just the same. That
Right.
runabout right in the middle here. I saw her in the middle of Brownstone in a two-piece bath suit. So when I look, I say, "Ah, sitting on the runabout." So I was first I did not recognize her either. I was walking past and she called me by my full name. When I turned around, I saw her. My mouth dropped open to the floor, jam fed.
Yeah.
And when I looked at her, you know, some of these people have a particular look. When you look in their face, you know something is wrong.
Right.
You understand? And when I looked at her, I recognized that. Mm-mm. And I kid you not, before I could say anything, the tears started falling because I could not believe that this, you understand what I'm saying? Very well spoken, manly person. You
Mm.
understand me? Kind individual. And look what happened. And not fast, sufficing to say, she died anyway, not long after. And then I realized that they said that she was having mental issues, blah, blah, blah. But then when we look back and as school and as children, apart from her kindness, she have some little funny ways. And we always, you know, as
Mm.
children, you don't really pay it no mind. So sometimes things are there, but because we are not, because we are ignorant, we are unable to
Yeah.
identify.
Part of the big thing, as you said about identify, we not think that some people can go through things. Like you have a pastor
Exactly.
at church. This pastor is strong and always a pray for people and always a support. And you ain't gonna think that this your pastor can be struggling with fornication or whatever. You understand?
All
Or
right. You
mental
see, like how you touch that?
yeah,
I a pastor that I talk to,
or a principal or a
and
politician or whoever.
anybody, anybody, nobody's exempted. And this, the pastor said he struggled even when he was up there on the pulpit preaching. As we say in Jamaica, with cock bottom. You know, when ladies have cock bottom, that means you have holy power on. Your gluteus maximus around here is fully loaded. You
Right.
understand me? So you have a lot of weight around the back. And he said that even when he's up there preaching and a woman, any woman step through the door and roll your so up nicely, he would be preaching, but his eyes would be strained behind that woman looking at that bottom going
Yeah.
across. And he said that I recognize that I have a problem. And
Mhm.
he said, you know what I did to solve my problem? Because I was unmarried. He said that the wife that I get is one with a cock up bottom. So he said that now I have for myself. So
Right.
anyone that come through the door holds no more appeal to me because I have one at home. And
Mm.
when I watch her go in the kitchen, come back out, go up the stairs, come down, in clothes, out of clothes, whatever. And he said that I satisfied my craving.
Right.
So I say this to say that it's it's good when you can identify what your issues are. No,
It's
there are
good.
some people who are unable to do, and that is the reason why your circle is very important. Some of us have circle of friends who only egg us on for the foolishness. When we are going to do nonsense, they say, yes, good day, yes, my youth, whatever.
Yeah. So true.
Nothing. Even when you're at your low, you call them and say, oh, be busy, I know. You call them back later. Lord Jesus, me just have put Charlie to bed.
Let's say with your Tara, say if you're not talk about sex or mix up or so, some people don't really want to have the time, you understand? If you
No, they don't want
want
a call to their phone.
and stuff, they're gonna find the time to laugh and gallivant and stuff. But if you want to talk about depression and stress and suicide, ain't nobody gonna have the time for that.
But
They're
you
gonna
see, a
get
part
bored
of
and things like that.
yeah, because and that is the reason why people should pick like-minded people. You understand me? And I'm not saying that you can't have friends in different places, but as you so mentioned, if you pick somebody that only want to talk about how much girls in go through and whatever, and your mind is elsewhere. You understand me? When you see the news and you see certain topic come up, you want to discuss, you want to ask the person, what do you think? But every time you open your mouth, you say, oh, Lord God, yeah, you know, some if you
Yep.
go check Sandra, and last night me have Debbie stay so and stay so. It's not working. You have to recognize that it is not working, and you are in an odd relationship because people need to understand that when you are somebody a friend, you enter in a relationship. You have intimate relationship, you have platonic relationship, professional
Yep.
relationship. You understand me? But you have to be mindful. Now, if we go all the way back, even when you make mention that people ask and say, how the men are so aggressive. There is a theory out there that they tell you that the most aggressive slaves were sent to our direction. You understand me? And that is where some
Yes.
of our attitude
That,
come from.
that's true.
But come forward when you are growing up and you have the boy in the house, the yard, the girl in the house, in the yard. The two of them go outside and then run, whether you live on the hilltop or you live down a gully side, and both fell. You go and you take up the girl and you kiss all the dirty knee. Hush baby, hush baby. Here you turn to the boy. Boy, top your eyes. Boy, pick the nose to cry. Suck
Yeah.
it up. You
Yeah.
understand me? So there and then you don't teach them how to deal with their emotions. You understand me? As you tell
Right.
say, look here, stop the crying, boy. Man don't cry. And what you mean by man don't cry? That's why you see most men lead to that side because they don't have any outlet. They weren't taught to let it out. You are females who have gone through stuff, but the woman will find two girlfriend and chat, chat, chat. Talk about the
True.
one something 50 times. The man a lion, a man not talk. But and
Yeah.
you see when stress come on you, it is going to manifest itself one way or another. I shared that you see when that pastor man attempted to rape me, tear out my side with the pliers and stuff, and I tried to deal with it by myself. And funny enough, I said to myself, I was going to do stress and how it affects the stomach on my
Yeah.
life for Sunday. Because I was saying something to someone regarding the stress, and she started having stomach issues. And I was saying to the person, did you know that one of the first part of what the stress attack is your stomach?
There you go.
Yeah, yeah. So I said to myself, I'm going to do that. But anyway, that was
Yes,
just a
digestive.
segue. Yes. So when I get to that point and I realized that I was stressed to the limit, I have allergies and I've always had allergies, but this was different. That was when I discovered that I was allergic to heat. And remember, say Jamaica, me born and live. If we, it
Yes.
hot.
I that the man told me so never go go I want cold country because I'm allergic to heat.
All right.
But I think it
No.
was due to stress.
Yes. You understand me? And I remember even one point I went to the hairdresser. You do your hair, you go under the dryer. And when I tell you that when she lift up that dryer, every single body run out of the hairdressing shop left me.
Mm.
Anybody know Dumbo? My ears was as big as Dumbo's. My head was swollen this big. My forehead was this big.
Mm.
Everywhere the heat touched was swollen stiff. You understand what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
if me think my bad, get some hot tea, get some porridge, drink some soup, and then you see how sick I become. You understand me? And it started manifesting itself, whatever. They had no cause why that was happening and that was because I've always had allergies, my eyes and the sun. You understand
Yeah.
me? But this was to a different level. And it was when I had to go in, watch myself, time myself for certain things, start writing down certain things. When I feel my skin tightening on me, when I feel it changing and all of that, I used to have to chart it to be able because it was so strange.
Right.
You understand? But I say this to say that anybody can be stressed. I was on the bus one day and this lady beside me. and she was there throughout. You know, you pay attention to where you are going if you are not sleeping. But her
Mm,
head was down, and I kept on looking at her sideways, through the side eyes, because I'm saying, I don't see this woman hold up her head not even once. You
mm.
understand? And I was there until something just prompted me, and I said to her, "Are you okay?" And Jamfet, the tears started flowing full of drum. And she started telling me, oh, she's involved with this man. The man is beating her. Every time she tried to leave him, in come back her mother.
Hello? I think we lost Star there. All right, let me just get some of the comments until maybe Tara will come back. All right, Mamselle Linton is saying Christmas time is a bad time for people with no family. It's good if you invite a lonely person over for Christmas. Yeah, it's a time to reach out. It's really a time to reach out to somebody who might be alone. Miss Beauty K says, Johnford, sometimes you must listen out to someone because sometimes talking to them can help in a good way. That is it. And sometimes people are calling out for help and we don't know. And we go back to the point where I think, so some people are bigger than stress, are bigger than depression, are bigger than um, 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 suicide and things like that. And then we realize that no, Zimmerman and blessings from Miss Beauty K. We need to learn to let go. You can go crazy holding onto stuff, fighting and losing battles. And that's another thing, learning how to move on with our emotions, As we say, I think one of the worst things is dealing with a breakup, dealing with the fact that you have a failed relationship and dealing with the fact that you probably love this person who you're now seeing with somebody else and it seems to be working with somebody else, and then you start to question, but what is wrong with me, right? And even something like that can trigger your mental health. Something like abuse can trigger your mental health, because if you think that people imagine if you're an adult and somebody's trying to touch you in an inappropriate manner, it's going to cause you to be extremely upset and extremely violated. Like if a man tries to touch a girl, a lady on her bum or her upper body, she's gonna feel very violated. So imagine that happening to a child, somebody who's 10 or 8 years old or 12 years old. Imagine being violated at that age. Something like that can clearly trigger you into having mental health nightmares, especially if you don't reach out and tell somebody, your parents, or you understand. So different people, Miss Beauty came in, not even did welcome you. Welcome. Saying, Janfred, how are you? I'm doing well. I'm doing well. We're still looking, but we're on a different angle tonight. We're still looking at the situation that took place in the church, and I'm questioning the role of mental health in the situation. We learned that the pastor is from a family, allegedly, of people who are suffering from mental health. And the fact of the matter is, if you listen to some of these videos and some of the things that this person was saying, clearly these were not things that a normal pastor or even somebody in their rightful mind would be saying. So I think it's clear to say that there was some mental illness going on there. And my question is a pastor too big for us to signal that, you need help, you need counseling, right? Who counsels the counselor? That's the question I'm asking. Who counsels the counselor? Who prays for the prayer warrior? Who um, doctors the doctor, if you will? Tara, hope you feel better, says Miss BTK. Jamfa, I totally understand. This is what Z Millionaires TV is saying. I'm an empathic and compassionate person, but sometimes people just want to spew negativity on you. And that's why sometimes the million, somebody who is reaching out to you, sometimes you might push them off because you're like, oh God, this person is always negative, always a talk about suicide and stuff. Sometimes people have spoken to me about suicide, but you can clearly see that they're just saying it to sort of get your attention and stuff. But sometimes they are actually thinking about it. And we can probably brush it off and think, imagine like a man who you dump, and you're going to say to him, oh, he might go call you and say, oh, I feel like I'm going to kill myself. And you're probably going to brush it off, Zimilian. You're going to say, oh, then you're not going to go kill yourself or something like that. You understand? But sometimes the thought is actually there, you know? Zimilian reminding us to thumbs up the live, guys. And please share me out if you can. People can die of a broken heart. Absolutely, says Zimilian, especially if you invest a lot into that relationship. I remember a story I read when I was a child, and it was about this kid who had his parents were poor, and they saved a lot. They saved a lot of money and sent him to university. And one day they decided, oh, we're going to surprise him and go to the university. And they turned up at the university, and this man see his parents come in this old car, and then come out of the car and then spot him and I run to him. And him walk past them. He totally walked past them and pretended that he didn't know them. And they went back home and they died from a broken heart. So people do, the both of them died. So when him go home, him realize that they both died. And sometimes it is because of your emotions. I can listen to some people sometimes, but not all the people every time. And of course, sometimes some people drain your energy. Some people drain you. I used to have somebody who I used to just talk to her, but she would absolutely drain. When I say by the time the second sentence come out, I just feel so drained emotionally. So some people are takers, takers, takers. Others are givers, and sometimes you need a limit. You understand? Thank you, Jesus, for your mercy, says Zimmerman. Mama's handprint says negativity is a terrible judgment placed on mankind. We have to be careful how we address each other. Absolutely spot on, Mama's handprint. Totally agree with you. We have to be careful how we deal with people. And not everybody can take harsh criticism, and not everybody can take. I mean, if you're struggling from a body odor, there is a way to approach somebody who is struggling with a body odor or a thinking mouth, as we would say in Jamaica. You're not gonna ball out in front of everybody. Why you about thinking, go and go brush your teeth or find toothpaste or something? You know, there is a method of how you are going to deal with approaching certain things. You understand? The method sometimes of how you approach somebody and offer your correction. And Jamaica meets Ivory Coast, my newest member. Considering all the systematic issues the Black community face globally, I think we shy from another branding, says Jamaica meets Ivory Coast. And I mean, the Black community, we still have so many issues that we need to deal with: single parenting, absence of father, drugs, violence, a lot of things that we still need for to deal with. Zimmerman is saying this man, the self-proclaimed His Excellency, is a stiff-tearing madman. It's sad that the congregants did not realize that someone wasn't right with them. And the fact is, the man, I'm listening to these church members, and they genuinely thought that this man was um, a God sent, God blessed, God chosen. They thought so. And even the man was said him get shot, and even though he got shot, he was still looking at the guy, thinking the guy was going to resurrect the girl. Even though the other one said the man had walked upon them in the church and he must proclaim himself as God. And he now I start to believe that maybe the man is really God in the flesh. And the man I walk around and say some things, oh, I come in the flesh and my own receive me not and recognize me not and stuff like that. I mean, some people don't know that that is a crazy thing, but they honestly saw this person as their spiritual father and that he was going to raise back this girl from the dead. And now we hear him pull out the man support system out and throat so that the unclean blood run out and he was going to resurrect. And I mean, if you go in a one church and somebody said this is I remember the Benny Hinn crusade. Benny Hinn crusade in Jamaica, and a lot of people have Benny Hinn as this healer. And when I went to the Benny Hinn crusade, there were people there who had one leg in a wheelchair, who couldn't see, some deaf, and the whole of them went to that crusade with the expectation that they were going to be healed. Enough of them. You could see people, a wheel, me see all some people come on them deathbed. People are pushing the deathbed and the people then lie down. They can't even sit up in a wheelchair. They were on this like stretchers and they were wheeling them into the Benny Hinn crusade, thinking that they were going to be healed. Now, I am not questioning the power of God or anything like that, but what I'm questioning is the wisdom behind some of these people. Blessings to you. Jamaica meets Ivory Coast, says the millionaire. Spot on Z Million. Ivory Coast is here. Z Million, hi, beautiful, says Jamaica meets Ivory Coast. Mama Handprint, it's strange because some of his members were intellectual people. And that's what we're saying, Z Million. You can be intellectual and still get caught up in or bewitched, as my friend said. A lot of them were bewitched because they looked at this person as a spiritual reference. Thank you, God. I just shared to your sister Tara in back is back in full force, says Zimmerman. We bless God for that. Green Nation, hello. Not top topic, says John Fett. Bless up, bro. Just go and greet blessings. Pick up yourself, Nats. Hope you're doing well. Snuggles in the house. Welcome, Snuggles. Snuggles says, what are the stats on growing up in a two-parent household compared to the stats on growing up in a single-parent household? And how does that have an effect on the human mind? That's a good question. How does someone growing up in a single family, single household? It depends because if you're growing up in a two-parent household and you see your father had beat out the daylight out of your mother morning, noon, and night, then it might as well you grew up in a one single household. You understand? I mean, a lot of us grew up in a household where our parents sort of respect them one another. Your mother shout and your father shout, but you know, have the physical violence. But if it is that the children didn't and they must see the mother kick the mother in her stomach or she might pregnant and I mean, it might as well them grow up in a one single parent household. And the fact is, okay, we know the family unit is a lot better because it provides support, etc. And I mean, if you think about it, if the single family, if the single parent is out working, then the kids might be vulnerable to things like family friend coming over and abusing or touching them in places that are inappropriate and things like that. Licious Vlog is here saying hi. Greetings and welcome to you, Licious. Thank you for stopping by. Zimilian is saying welcome to you, Licious. Hi, everyone, says Licious Vlog. Um, if you're a content creator, you can just make sure you subscribe and leave a comment on the outside so that I will know that you passed through. Zimilian sending love to Snuggles. Jamaica Meets Ivory Coast says, even in the justice system, it can make a difference with the outcome of how you, it can make a difference, the outcome of how you are with one sentence, says Jamaica Meets Ivory Coast. Mama's handprint says the million intellectual stimulation is relative. Some are theoretically inclined, but common sense is lacking. That's what Mama's handprint is saying. Um, True words, Mama. Good night. CDE is in the house. Good night, good morning, wherever you are. Greetings and blessings to you, CDE. Thanks for coming into the chat. Sil is still here with us. Yeah, so what I'm saying is you can have a lot of things that will trigger off somebody's mental health issues. Um, um, I'm looking at these kids who would have been exposed to this traumatic issue, and then they're taken from their parents, they're put into a home. How are they going to deal with that dilemma? The fact that they are removed from their parents and they're now in a situation where them in our government home with people they don't know who around them, etc. So it can trigger a lot of, it will have a lot of consequences on these kids, and not just the kids, but everybody who would have witnessed this thing. Because I mean, okay, if you witness a murder, that's one thing, but if you witness a murder in a church, that's a whole different ballgame. Because a church is supposed to be a sanctuary. A church is supposed to be somewhere where you go for comfort, somewhere where you go for prayer, somewhere where you go for advice, somewhere where you go for healing, somewhere you go for deliverance and stuff. So to witness this horror, and it's not the first atrocity either, because there was a situation last year, I think it was, when there was a woman who got murdered in the church. Like the gunman got into the church and killed the woman while the church service was going on. So, I mean, you would think that these people are going through some serious thing upstairs to violate the sanctuary. You understand? But mental health is an issue in the church, and oftentimes the church is in denial about a lot of things. The church in denial about a lot of things because you are prayer, you believe that the church is powerful and stuff. So you're not gonna want to accept say somebody in the church might have mad in brackets, in quotation. You're not gonna want to accept say somebody mad in the church because you're gonna say, no man, madness is a demon and we're gonna cast it out. Whereas we have to understand that some things are spiritual and some things are physical. The church can't heal everything. Paul did have one infirmity and he said pray 3 times for God to remove it, and God never remove it. It means that not every issue can be dealt with spiritually. Like these kids who witness the murder, you can't just say, all right, make we just pray for them and God. No, you have to send them through counseling. And the church is guilty of a lot of these things where we just hide under the carpet a lot of things and just use prayer to cover it. Use prayer to cover abuse. Use prayer to cover teenage pregnancy. Oh, your teenage girl and the choir get pregnant. Oh, we just like to pray for her and whatever. No, she needs counseling and proper systems put in place, especially if she um If it's a big man who cause her to get pregnant, then that's another issue. You need for we need to deal with the church have so many things wrong nowadays. Greetings, not hot topic. Welcome.
Pick up yourself in a jump. Where you going with?
But then I'm
I
for holiday.
decide say if I even want 10 minutes, me I can spend with you up on the
It's
platform.
my
No problem.
pleasure. It's
Just
a
up
pleasure to
everybody
see
in
you.
the chat room. Yeah, right. That's all.
Yeah, me I said the church, enough things where instead of them deal with it from a physical perspective, them I go tell people, make us pray, but me not say nothing wrong with
Yeah,
prayer.
and that is it because you see, all in the church, jump faith, enough people get abused sexually and them something there, you know.
Of
And
course.
they them cover it up, them try to hide it, them talk about them, I can pray about it. So enough of these persons not even know, when them a get the abuse, it becomes norm to them
It
because of the
becomes
culture of the church. Yeah. So
yeah.
a lot of things are going behind closed doors when it comes
Not
on
me.
to
My father was a pastor. I remember when my sister got
PD
pregnant.
Eve, bless up, bro.
When my
Yeah.
sister got pregnant, my sister was 22, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And the church said they have to kick her out of the house to put her in our apartment by herself. I mean, I don't know if it was a planned. I don't think it was a planned pregnancy. But I'm thinking this. She was 22, so it's not like she was a kid. You understand? And she lived with her mother.
Mm-hmm.
My father wasn't really her father. But in a matter, the church tell themselves we have to put her out. And I remember they kicked her out and put her, they find one room and make she go have the kid there. And I'm thinking the trauma was that the girl must have
Of
got, because me not think
course.
2 year old is
Look at all that. No, that listen. There's no way, right? Me understand. Say every church have them different doctrine and whatever, but when we are check reality now against doctrine, right? A teenage person get say a teenage
a
person
teen.
get
Yeah,
pregnant, right? And that person is cast out. Wait, what? Where you are gonna leave that person for do now?
exactly.
How you deal with something like that and how that person cope after life. Because more than likely, you're gonna push them to the worst things, isn't
Yeah,
it?
you're pushing them to be dependent on the man because they're probably not
Exactly, because all them you see sometimes there's a
Ricky
wrong and
Life,
right,
big up yourself. Big up yourself.
wrong,
Enough
wrong
things
and right.
used to go on when we look back and they say, I'm well, if foolishness we used to go on. Remember
For
one
real.
Sunday we got church, and church did good nuts. Everything went spot on, nice.
Hmm.
When we go in at the car, one of my church brother did it and he vexed like a bull. I say, my God. So I said to him, say, what happened? He not answer. He did it vex and vex and vex. So eventually, we said to him, but what happened? What's wrong? Him say, huh? How if you come to church and the woman and lead praise and worship with that 10 finger in red? Oh, me
Yeah,
look
these
on
are
this
some of the
thing,
things
I say,
where
look, this
where
woman a
you
man
know
or something.
these are some of the
Because the
things
lady
where
have two texts on her finger,
yes, man.
him, I go come out of church extremely upset.
Yeah, man. And
And
and and bigger things are going in our church where they not look fun because they might think about the ornaments,
you know, think about the ornaments. Woman can't wear pants and woman not fit put on cream and all that. I remember my mother used to be the secretary in the church. And my mother, when she cream her hair, because my mother did have a big head of hair, enough
Mhm,
hair upon her head. And she decides that she can't manage it. Because
mhm.
whether we like it or not, black people here start a challenging when enough. And my mother cream her hair, and she was the church secretary, and them kick her off of the rostrum. She have to go down, go sit down in the back of the church. The woman have to take off her wedding ring because them say you're not allowed to wear jewelry and you can't fool them foolishness there. What we put up with for so long, and I said them there's something they are fooling it. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, for real.
You come with one list of thou shalt not and thou shalt, and them can't find nothing in the Bible to justify all of those rules and stuff.
For real. Because listen, me feel so the focus that persons should, and you can tell person to do them things still, but the main focus should be on God, right? And not on
Yes,
some
because should be on God.
person.
Make
And
God tell
another thing that I don't like is that whenever persons within the church commit offenses, they believe that it is in their realm to deal with it, you know, and
yeah,
sometimes these
yeah,
offenses are even greater than them. You see me?
because the church, I grew up in a church where say you're not supposed to sue. No, but me the one be lawyer. Me I grew up and I said, no, me can't be lawyer because the church said we can't be lawyer. Me say, so the height of foolishness when me never gonna say we used to exist because it obviously clearly still exists in the church where they are dominating and telling you what you can do and what you can do when you have nothing to do with your relationship with God. You
True.
understand? Jamaica means Ivory Coast. I almost killed myself because of depression. It was a friend who forced himself into my house and prayed with me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
depression is a serious thing.
Of course. Uh, General.
Serious thing, right? All me I say is that we now look past some people and think that them can have certain issues. You know, like when I think say a pastor I go suffer with um pornography, for example. You think pastor now take them phone and look on a porn hub sometime? Or
Not all of them, you know, but you just
not
have
all of
to.
them, but we're
The thing
all
is, the thing
humans.
is, the thing is with that now, John Pet, you just, me no know, because even this pastor now, to how him brainwash these people, him cause them to believe that he is actually God.
Yeah,
So,
that's
yo,
what I'm saying.
Jano, yeah, man, it's
Yeah,
weird
because
now.
you're not expecting your pastor, I will tell you foolishness not. You
Exactly,
understand?
and they
You
look
other
up to
things
this
there.
man so much. So anything when he tell them is gospel, you know.
Yeah.
Me, I listen to one of the brother today where Kirk Wright did a thing with, and the man I say when him in at the church and what happened, you know him a share him experience, and me I say the man say at one point nobody can tell him say I no spell him cast on them or whatever.
Hmm.
Because at one point there's nothing that he could have done that is wrong to them in their
Right.
eyes. Right? And him said the man come across to him and tell them, say, you what, if them kill you, me can resurrect you.
Hmm.
So, you know, them believe so much in this man. But you know, sometimes we need to blame ourselves for these things because, you know, we we can't worship man, brother.
You can't worship man. If you go in a one church and you see say the pastor is bigger than the church, it's like a big red flag. But me know, listen, me know, you have some people who in the church where them claim to have power. And those people, if them tell you, you know, say, me see a one man, me post up the video with this big old ass steering man, turn up and make this little boy. I lift him up and I fling him down.
The
Yeah, we are
mother,
looking at the video now. Him take him up and him throw him on the floor. And then him take him up again and him fling him in the, I mean, I say, but how can a big old man stand up and make somebody throw him
but
down?
John Pet, you see why me have to blame some of these church members too? Because I watch one of the video where the man I tell them say, oh, them crutches are got on cobweb and then something. And me I say, how you sit back and allow somebody to talk to you in that way, derogatory, brother? Oh,
You know,
John,
me,
the
me
man
know I have a
all
friend, I have a
attacks
friend
them if
said,
them late and I say, you know, come to church because of fence, the fence I got dropped down here, I got dead here, I got this. Me I said, John,
me have a friend who tell me, say, nobody in a film church can get married if prophecy no come to him. If one prophecy not come, fi say, brother T, you're going to marry to sister R. Them can't go off of them full will and get married. And this was at somebody where was at University of the West Indies with me. So I never know. You know, some people are think say, okay. only unintelligent or uneducated people are going to fall in a trap. The guy was at UA, and him tell me that he can't marry unless one prophecy come for him,
Mm-hmm.
whoever the person might be.
Yeah. You have some strange doctrine in this place called church, yeah, man. Like everybody look like they up on them own card.
Zimina says, I saw a video with a pastor preaching on the pulpit during offering collection. He took up his phone and someone behind him video him watching porn. Yeah, they're humans. How many pastors on the ear say, um, far? Them find them with prostitute, or them find them with young boys, or them find them impregnate woman, or them sleep with church sister. I mean, it's a common occurrence because at the end of the day, these people are human and them have them temptation as well. But if you think that them can't do no wrong, all if the evidence come. Remember one pastor we used to, like I said, when we used to do, and there a lot of people were convinced that he was in the lodge, and people who used to work on house used to talk about the symbols them with their yard and stuff, and like them I try to get him out of the church, and then he had this girl where testify and said the man sleep with her and stuff, and it got as high as national overseer and stuff, and they did nothing. They did nothing because at the end of the day, the man had a lot of money, and him they give 1 million to the church roof, and so at the end of the day, them not do nothing to him
Yes, sir. Then you
because the
can say
church has their own rules.
the church always a cover up things because me know of situations where right now, pastor in a problems with sexual things and church sister because a pastor. She got cover it up the pastor. So, she choose a pastor over her own child. I mean,
Yeah,
so these things are wrong, because at the end of the day, no pastor go suffer, no the woman and the mother go suffer the child. To go through this, because remember it's a traumatic experience. And
okay.
sometimes they put it to these persons in such a way where they think it is normal, So, somebody else come to abuse them, it is already normalized in their mind. So it is nothing. And then we see them see them behave certain way in society and we ridicule them, not knowing what they would have gone through, all these years. So sometimes that's why you say victims, sometimes they're not them afraid to speak up, them free,
Okay.
because of some of these very things.
I think one of the most disturbing thing is the man in the police station and the whole lot of police them and laugh. And I'm like, but this guy just killed 3 people or 2 people or whatever the case may be. I have him sit down there and entertain, Like the
They
whole
make a
thing
trouble for
is
it,
worse than Santa Barbara to me.
So they might get trouble for it, they know, John Fed.
Well, me see some of
Yeah.
them say them have to give him first paycheck and have to
Them
bring
charge.
how much contribution. I mean, like, what is he doing with so much money?
Hmm.
But it's not even, I mean, there's a lot of churches who, the people, them, most of if you look on the mega preachers, them,
Mm-hmm.
Juanita Bynum, TD Jakes, the whole of the up is like a celebrity type business.
Yeah, for
They
real.
rake in millions of dollars.
Yep.
You understand? And a lot of the time is people have blind faith because them are
And then you see,
expecting.
you see, a lot of the times we talk about a mere man who are just scamming outside, right? But
Yeah,
nobody is very people classify themselves to be churches and pastors are bigger scammers. Because
sure.
look at this man now, Mr. Kevin Smith.
Mm.
Well, I know why your soul rests in peace. But Kevin Smith was one of the biggest scammers coming from Jamaica, one of the biggest. If that is not scam, I don't know
And
the
standing here
definition of
right to the
scam.
top because him have friends in very high places.
You better know that shit. You know, me not, me not even got too close to that topic
Very,
there. I swear.
very high places. I mean, no, enough pictures not come out yet.
Look here now, brother. The man, him did have to left, you know. Him did have to go. Him did have to go. He knows too much. He's affiliated to too much. Yeah. Them did have to, whatever.
Now, I wonder if the second in command will reveal anything.
Right now, how would they come one pastor come out and say, listen, even though he is dead, his spirit is not dead. And whatever you have to remember, say, like them might explain it to the devil in relation to blood, him have to get that blood. So no matter what, that spirit are gonna live on and you're gonna have that bloodshed same way. So yo, when me hear certain things, I know I'm afraid.
Debbie Collins, welcome. Debbie
David
Collins.
Collins, pick up yourself, yeah.
Yeah, guys, remember to thumbs up the live, please. Um, I mean, it's still there's a
Some of
lot of
these
stuff
things
like
are
that.
just damn scary, brother.
No, but when you hear the people, I think the guy who came on TVG, in film account sound the most will make sense to me. The way him express himself and stuff, the
Mm.
sort of can say, okay, me can see say I saw it go for true. But even him say him think said the man I got raise I got a God for true. So I'm thinking what spell somebody can cast on you to the point where you are going to think that this person is actually God. 'Cause where things the Jamaican people have little
We're
sense.
misled,
You
son.
understand
We're
what I say?
misled. We're misled.
Because it's not like Jamaican people just a discover Christianity or if I did some Islamic sitting now with them just a discover, me could have said, okay, fine. Them just a discover the seven virgins or whatever. But everybody know for me don't know which family in Jamaica don't know about Christian and gospel and church and them stuff. You go
For
believe
real, though.
these things unless they were getting something in exchange where Ricky likes the serious things going on. Ricky, serious things. And I feel so the half has not been told.
For real, mate, man.
The half has not been told. So what I'm still I wonder what they were saying that they wonder why them would have choose to not use the highway. They must say like them never have no money if you take the highway.
All right, let me tell you, I'm kind of try to explain the highway something there. You see,
Okay.
when the powers that be, the high authorities were making this deal with these Chinese people in relation to that highway, they
Hmm.
did not put it into context or writing that military, the police force, them
Or
people, them
government
whenever pass
official.
through, they should get a pass or whatever. So there's nothing to cover that. So these officers or soldiers will have to put that toll from their pockets. Now, the little much where the people them a get already have to go take out the little much, and when
Hmm.
them pay it, them now get it back. So them are going to take the alter
Alternative route.
exactly.
Yeah, but that is an embarrassment for the country, though. Me not tell no lie. When I heard that message, no, sir, not couldn't go so. Because
All right.
that is an
Okay,
embarrassment.
champ, no can go some. Would I say same thing?
Yeah, because I would think so teachers, nurses, firemen,
No,
police
my dear,
would
they
have
did
get
not take that into consideration when they were when they
and so
were
they never
were
negotiate that. We can't tell us that they ain't got to Chinese people now with and get them the
where them
support.
are gonna get it from, brother? Them have
Because
to
you can tell you
stipulate
the
something
Chinese man
within it.
now give us ice in. Me see this Chinese place where I go every day go buy my lunch. And one day me shot in 10 cents and the woman don't give me she tell me I have to put back something. So that was a bad as usual we outsmarted once again. Zimilian is saying, Jamfet, do you think that his spirit went into the man that touched for real? He felt a heavy feeling coming over him. Zimilian, me think that the witchcraft is so um it's such another dimension that nothing's possible where you don't might think possible. Me sure say when you used to see coming at people and when the spirit gets in at them, they might climb the tree them back way. We don't never see them video that on TV yet. When them are do coming at St. Thomas and stuff, sometimes when the spirit gets in some people, them put fire in their mouth and them walk on fire. And so that the realm of witchcraft is so Tremaine, God's glory. Hello, Jam Jam. Welcome, Tremaine. The realm of witchcraft is such that sometimes when you're possessed by these spirits, you're able to do things that normally you would not be able to do. I saw a girl once that was possessed in church, and it took about 6 men, and it was a little maga girl. It took about 6 big chang man to try to control the girl, and even they were struggling because it's like the girl get superpower and had so much strength that the man them did they try all her and could have barely managed her. So when the superpower, when the witchcraft or when these spirits come into your body, you sometimes can, if you're not man sharp, you can climb coconut tree back way. That means we have a Kevin number 2 now, says Zimilian. Well, I think we're gonna have to wait to see what he's going to say. But is he going to say the same thing like the rest of people them say, oh, I the man bewitch them and so them never in it? Because that's basically what everybody's saying. So them just get like a spell was cast on them. Tremaine said, John Fett, you're back at it, Lord. Tremaine, we not change something the formula. We ain't gonna change something where we're, but we are get a last lick tonight. Tremaine says, Zimina, what's up? So Tremaine, are you coming up? Come up, man. Come talk. You're supposed to up here. I tell you about this, the spiritual world and them warfare and them stuff. So that's what I would say is imminent. Sometimes when the spirit take over, because look at all that the boy they will say, he might go run out the door with the knife. Probably a demon take him over, yes, make him think, say, yes, him can go out there and the police are going to shoot him and nothing going to do him because the man tell him, say, go out there, go with the knife and nothing will do you. So, I mean, it sounds like Tom and Jerry, but it's reality, you know?
John Fett, me I go cut leave you pick up the
All
son
right.
for another
Thanks
thing.
again. Bless up yourself. So, yeah, sometimes, I mean, Mr. People possess already where them voice change. Them voice change. Um, Remember one time in my community, them said this girl take up and she took up a jacket of her grandfather. Her grandfather was dead. And she took up the jacket of her grandfather and must put it on. And she got possessed by a spirit and she took up a knife and she started running down with everybody in the community. That clearly was a demon with possessor because she had never done anything like that before. You understand? Jamaica meets Ivory Coast is in the building. Greetings to you, my dear. How are you tonight?
Can you hear me? I'm sorry. I was on mute. How are you?
Hi, my dear. How are you? I'm all right.
I'm good, thanks. Good evening, everyone. This is a subject that is very close to home. Um, You know, I've experienced and still I'm living with depression. And it took me a long time to even get to the root that I was depressed.
Right.
I always called myself the popular loner because, you know, outside my house,
Yeah.
you know, the partier, or at work, I'm the one that's volunteering
Yeah.
to help everybody out. But when I got home, my home became a jail cell to me. Um, you'd have people who look forward to their home because their home is a refuge, but mine was where, um, I was alone. And don't get me wrong, I'm a mother of two wonderful kids,
Yeah.
and I have a lot of family member,
Yeah.
but at the same time, you don't see that. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody watched the movie called Get Out, and they talk about that sunken place. I
Yeah.
remember when I was contemplating suicide, and I felt like I was just in a hole
Mm.
by myself, and there was nothing that I could think of that made me stop thinking about it.
Right.
And I was one of those people that would say, "Oh my God, that person's crazy. How can you just give up such a blissful life?"
Right.
But until you get into that position, that's when you
Yeah.
realize that, oh my gosh, I could see why people do commit that act. And I was a person that never talked about my issues. Nobody knew. I was always smiling. You know, I had a full-time job as a financial analyst working with the government. I was also a union president with
Yeah.
600 members. So I was always the person that's willing to give.
Yeah. You are the strong one. You are the one everybody's looking to for support. You are the one who everybody is looking for strength. But what happens when who gives the strong one strength? And that was the question I was asking earlier. Who is going to um, counsel the pastor, or
Mhm.
when the pastor goes, when everybody is worshiping him and he's so big and strong at church, when he goes home in his private abode, who is the one who is there to help him with his struggles?
Right, right. But the thing is, when you don't come across like you have a problem, that's the dangerous part because
Yeah,
everybody just thinks you're okay.
yeah, okay,
Yes. And even within myself, I couldn't understand why I was depressed because on the outside, everything looked great.
right,
And it's not until I had to go through that journey. I remember the day where my friend called me, and you remind me of him, by the way, especially your voice.
ah,
And he called me, and he was just like, Bronin, what's the problem? Why you not answer the phone? And at that time, I used to hustle a lot. You know, when I say hustle, I had my full time job, but then I had other side things that I was doing. And we were supposed to meet up because I used to like sell things to people who came from Jamaica on the farm and stuff like that. So we were supposed to go on a trip up there. And I just, imagine I was going there to get money, but I'm in my bed crying about I don't have money.
hmm,
So it even confuses your mind. You know,
right,
it become you start to procrastinate, and then because you procrastinate, whatever you're supposed to do didn't work out, then that causes another problem, right? And you
yeah,
just
that's a big consequence of depression. You can't get anything done.
yes,
You might have the most wonderful ideas, but you just cannot execute, or you might start and you just cannot finish it.
you can't finish it. And that was my thing. It rolled out in my career. It even affected my personal relationships because I was always angry and I couldn't figure out
Right.
why my relationships weren't working. And it was that day, it's like you have to hit rock bottom, but hopefully you still strong enough to not go any further. And I remember when my friend called me and I told him I want to kill myself. And at that point, I locked myself away from my parents. They came to my house. I wouldn't answer my door. And he was like, Brownie, what kind of band this you talk about?
Hmm.
You know, prayers, you need to pray. And I remember telling him, I said, Winston, God can't help me now. I remember saying that.
Right.
And that's when he was like, watch how God will go help. And I remember he came to my door, almost kicked down my door that day, just
Hmm.
to talk to me, and I broke down because I've never talked to anybody in regards to it.
Yeah.
And you feel that you have to be strong, and especially when you can't identify what the problem is.
Yes.
You just think that's why sometimes people think that they're crazy, because it's like, what's the issue? What's the deep down issue? And I had to take accountability for my mental wellness, and I decided to go see a psychiatrist, just to
Mhm.
go talk about my issues, to see what is really causing me. And it was it was childhood trauma,
Yeah.
which I could never talk about to anyone because I felt strange talking to it, and the family, I couldn't talk about it. And it was just having that impartial person that, there was no judgment, and you could actually open up about it. And that's when everything came to light, where, look, I have to deal with it. I can't continue hiding it, because it
Yeah.
is causing an effect throughout my life. And I walked that journey. I saw a psychiatrist. I spoke to my family about it, because I came to Canada when I was 6 years old, right?
Right.
And there was a lot of things that happened between that,
Mhm.
that created a very insecure person. And I would help everybody else, but I wouldn't help myself. I would give
Right.
everybody the best advice, but I wouldn't take that advice.
Yeah.
And again, you have to identify it, and you have to own it and said, look, this is what it is, and this is how I'm going to deal with it going forward. And we're not all lucky, like in my situation,
Yeah.
where I could actually get a hold of it before it got any worse. But it's something that you still manage throughout your life, because
Yeah.
I wasn't a fan of these medications either, where I didn't want it to put me out of the zone and things like that. So it was something where I had to just go and relax and think about and be honest with myself. That was another thing. I wasn't honest with
Yeah.
myself.
I think part of it, and people need to understand, is that something like mental health or depression, um, it's not something like a pipe you turn it on and off as you wish. Or even somebody who's grieving, you can't just say, okay, today I'm going to stop being depressed. It's a process. It takes time, and oftentimes, sometimes the process is aborted because, for some reason, we become vulnerable. Once we're going through those situations, we become vulnerable, and a lot of people who reach out for help from others, um, they find themselves in compromising positions because sometimes people will take advantage of you. You
Mm-hmm.
know, people
Mm-hmm.
take advantage of you. Okay, she's depressed and alone. I'll go and be with her, but I'm gonna make her pay for the restaurant and use her money. And you understand, because
Mm-hmm.
you're not really thinking as clearly as you should, so you become vulnerable to other people, and not everybody is looking out for your good.
Yes, it's true. It's true. But it's like, it's everybody, there's so many different categories, and some are more severe than others. And it all depends on the individual, the support that they have as
Yeah,
well. Because I even had an experience with dealing with somebody who, because mental issues is not something you see
yeah,
immediately, and a couple years ago, I was a manager at a bar and restaurant, and there's a guy that used to come in, well dressed, good looking
mm,
guy, and he would come in with a regular customer of mine. And it was one day he would come in and he'll drink a couple beers and stuff like that. And one day he would just started yelling at his friend, to the point where he wanted to fight him.
yeah,
And then his friend told me, like, he has some mental issues. That's why he allowed him to do things and all of that. But my concern was, should he be drinking at the
yeah,
same time? And I we agreed that, I was going to monitor his drinking, because at the same time his friend was expressing that his family doesn't care. They kind of disown him,
yeah,
and he wants him to feel like he's a part of society, you know and he was on medication and things like that, but I was still wasn't comfortable with the drinking and the
yeah,
medication. So I took him aside and we talked about it, and I said, look, I will only serve you 2 beers while you're here, and he agreed.
yeah,
And I remember he would have these little outbursts,
Yeah.
in the restaurant, and got to a stage where I was concerned because it's not good for business. But I was also concerned about him as
Yeah.
well. And I remember at one point he started talking to the wall, and this is when I really saw how bad it was. He was
Yeah.
talking to the wall, and his friend took him out and he left for the day, and he came back and the next day, and I was talking to him, and I was trying to jog his memory about what happened the day before, and he was looking at me like I was crazy. Like I was crazy. Nothing like that happened.
Yeah.
And I remember he said something to me that broke my heart. And he was like, Karen, I look at everybody around me and I feel like I'm not living. It's like I'm outside of the world looking at everybody enjoying life. And I can't get that. And he started telling me about him in relationships and how as soon as he starts talking to somebody, they realize how he is. And that just makes it worse. And I remember one day we had to call the ambulance because he laid in the middle of the street, stopping traffic. And he came back a month later acting like it never happened. And
Yeah.
I was just like, can you imagine living like that where something happens in your life and the
Yeah.
next day you have no reconciliation? You don't remember that at all. And it was so sad because he had no support from his family whatsoever.
Patrick Watson, thank you for joining us. Please remember to give me a thumbs up as you come in. Yeah, mental illness, it doesn't mean, and that's where Jamaicans over the years we have gone wrong, because we have always thought that mental illness, it means that you're going to be in the street walking naked or doing crazy things.
Right.
So when
And
we think of somebody who is mentally ill, we're thinking of somebody who is walking up and down in the community and their heads are looking crazy and things like that. They're not thinking that mental illness could be your teacher. It could be your boss. It could be your in this case your pastor. Like I had a friend, and he was doing very well. He had a PhD at the university. Okay, um, but he had a mental illness. He was in politics in France as well, doing very well, head of the young people's arm of some of the one of the bigger parties here. So it was somebody who had a lot of potential and promise, but he had a mental health issue in which he was what we call in France a mythoman. Like he could not help but lie every single time. Like
oh, okay, he's
he would
paranoid.
just lie over the simplest of things, and he would just invent a lie. Like we would be there sitting, and he would just go silent, and you're like, "What happened?" And he's like, "Oh, um, today is the birthday of my child." And I'm like, "What? You have a child?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, but the child died."
Oh, yeah.
Or he would, I remember once he told me, "Oh, I have cancer." And I'm like, "Oh, you have cancer? I'm gonna come to the hospital with you." And he's like, "No, no, 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 no. The doctor said that I should come alone." I'm like, "Really?" Because I knew what he was doing. I knew that it was a lie. And then, I'm like, "No, no, 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 no. They can't tell me I can't come. I'm coming with you." So eventually, the day he was to go, he didn't answer the phone. And then when he eventually answered the phone, I'm like, "Did you go to the doctor?" He's like, "Yeah, I went to the doctor, but they said the cancer is better now." So
Oh, yeah.
we would be walking down the street and we would see like a stranger, a total stranger, nice looking. You would think like some of them are like models. And like he would start to hide behind the wall. And I'm like, "Why are you hiding?" And he's like, "Oh, my ex is there." And I'm turning around trying to see who could be the ex of this guy. And like he's showing me like the most beautiful girl on the Champs Elysees. And he's like, "Oh, she's my ex, and I dumped her." And like, he would just create all these lies for no reason. And then everybody, like in the political party and stuff, like they would be asking me, "Why is he lying? He's telling so many lies. He's saying he's sleeping with everybody in the park, and he just couldn't help it. But it is a mental health condition. And if you looked at him, as I said, he has a doctorate, he was teaching in a school. You understand?
Yeah, I had a supervisor like that, and he told me that Rihanna was his cousin. Justin Bieber, who's white, is also his cousin. He showed me a picture of an Asian family and told me that this was his relatives and stuff like that. But then when I spoke to him like personally, I realized that I think it was childhood trauma because he was adopted. There's a lot of things that
Yeah.
I think would contribute where he wants to feel wanted and needed,
And
so
I think that was this guy because when you look at him, um, like what an autistic person would look like. He sort of has that autistic face, even though it's not like a um. I'm saying autistic. I don't know.
Down syndrome you're talking about?
Well,
Down
yeah,
syndrome.
that's what I'm talking about. Down syndrome. So he has that sort of Down syndrome face, but not a full one. So you can see that even though like he like was almost would have suffered from that almost. I
Hmm.
don't know if I'm clear enough. And I think and he was a bit on the chubby side as well. So I think that he was just seeking acceptance.
Approval. Yes, yes,
So
yes.
all these lies that he was inventing, he was just seeking, to belong or to feel important or something like that. And I was trying to tell him that he didn't need to do all these type of things. But I mean, at the time, I didn't even know that mythomania was like a mental health condition. I just thought this guy is a liar, and we need to just cut off all ties.
Yeah, and that's the stigma that comes with that. Because in Canada, it's not until I think it's the last 7 years or so that they really started
Yeah,
taking mental illness as a big deal, where
yeah.
they outlined it and they've implemented programs to support it. Where because before it was you're lazy, you're crazy.
Yeah, and we saw like with Naomi Osaka, the tennis player. Like I think she pulled out because she didn't want to do the press conferences, and people were like, "Ah, you make a lot of money from tennis. You should do the press conference." And
Mhm.
I mean, they were criticizing her so badly when in reality, she was just struggling with mental illness.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because it's again, it's not a disability, a visible disability. So that stigma, and it takes a while for people to get out of that stigma. Also depending on the country that you're in and how serious they're campaigning
Mm.
for this. But it's I find that we all have something, and especially in the black community, because I find with the black community, as I put a comment where we're
Mm.
kind of shying away from that because we have so many things already stamped against
That's
us,
going wrong. Yeah,
right? Yeah, so now it's like now we have mental illness, but also we have to look at the benefits of diagnosing these things, even with the justice system, where white people are using mental illness
yeah,
um, when it comes to sentences, right? Or while
absolutely.
with us, we're getting jail time instead of treatment.
Yeah,
And that's something that we do need to bring aboard, but it's hard because again, we have, at least from in my views, we have so much that's against us globally, where another stigma that's going to be, they're going to, not make it look like it's just a human thing, but
yeah,
here we go, it's black people with some, and they're crazy,
that is so true.
so.
Um, Carmen says, I think he was suffering from chronic brain disorder, schizophrenia. It can last for years or a lifetime.
Yes, he did have, it's schizophrenia. He was schizophrenic.
Colleen saying, good night, everyone. Yes, it's obvious that he was mad. And that's the thing,
He wasn't,
Colleen. We treat
he's not
everybody as
mad.
mad when
He's
they
not
go
mad.
through mental health issues because we're not really used to it or how to deal with it. If somebody's in your family who is walking without shoes in the community and eating from the garbage, we don't, we're not going to seek medical help for that person. We're just going to disown that person.
But remember one time I went to Jamaica, and it was us, as you want, if you want to call a madman, that
Yeah,
actually showed me that I was being robbed by the locals, right? And
there
it
you
was,
go.
yeah, I was I wanted to buy rolling paper, and I guess he saw that I was talking about it and he approached me. And
Mm.
we were kind of hesitant because again, he was homeless. And I gave him the money with the intentions that I would never see him again, right?
Yeah.
Just being who I am. And we waited for a while and then we're just about to walk off. And I see him running down, calling me. And he gave me the Whistler and change. And I said, "How come you giving me change? I thought this was $500." And he's like, "No, man, $100 for this." And that is just like, this is why sometimes you can't,
Yeah, and you can't, what they say,
you can't judge. You
broad brush everybody. You can't, because I was making the point earlier that not because somebody's in the street eating from the garbage means that that person has
Yes,
mental health issues.
yes,
Sometimes it's just circumstances.
he's
You
down.
get involved in gambling, or you lose your job, your family kick you out, whatever. That explains sometimes why you're on the street. So there are a lot of factors that contribute to some people's situations at times.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, that was my feed. I just felt inclined to come in and just tell my experiences as well, going forward. I just wanted
Absolutely
to,
appreciate it.
no problem.
Absolutely appreciate it, brother. So there you have it, guys. Jamaica Meets Ivory Coast sharing her mental struggles, and I think if we're honest, most of us have had some mental struggle at some point. It could be stress, it could be depression, it could be um, loneliness or solitude. Um, it could be mood swing. Sometimes people will say it's mood swing, but a lot of it is just mental illness. Colleen is here with us. Welcome, Colleen.
Good night.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
All right, let's hear what you have to say. So we're looking at, I mean, everybody is looking at the witchcraft element of what happened. I wanted to bring it a little further and look at the role that mental health might have played in this whole debacle. Because whether we want to accept it or not, sometimes um, the best of us struggle from mental struggles.
I wanna add. I have said it to you on the phone before that he more looked like somebody that was mad. But you must take into consideration this: when the person, if you know somebody that went to prison and then came back, is not the same person that went in, come back
Ah,
out. Is a
or,
different
or
person.
even who went to war, these soldiers who go to
Exactly.
war.
So in his case, he was in jail overseas. So not in Jamaica. I don't know for Jamaica, but overseas he was locked up. So is not the same person that came back out. And maybe his expectation of what he's supposed to be living and the amount of money that he's supposed to be handling, he's not seeing it in Jamaica. And maybe that's why he stresses himself so much to say that people should be bringing in more money, more money, more money inside of the church community. But his
Yes.
church
So he's
community
probably thinking of Canadian dollars and a convert, and I said, this is not enough
is
offering. And
right, because if he was in Canada this time, he would have this, he would have that, and maybe he could be able to give. Maybe he just live in a world for himself, thinking things in a whole different manner. So some of the time, some things happen. For me, it's obvious for me from what I saw in the video when he was in the police station. I said, this man, he have a head problem. He is sick. He is
that's
sick.
what some people are saying, that his family has a tradition having um
Okay.
of having issue. Well, there is a video on YouTube where a woman who is from Glengoff says that she knows the family, and she was making the point that his mother, the mother's side of the family, had a lot of mental issues. Basically, she was saying everybody on the mother's side was mad, right?
Okay.
And then that was before they went to Canada. So he eventually went to Canada. So if he had mental issues, and then on top of that, him go prison with these mental issues, you can also see where it's not going to make it any better. Jay Bent is here. Thank you, Jay Bent, for joining. He says he definitely had mental health issues, got drunk on power. That's what Jay Bent is saying. And we were making the point, really, that mental health doesn't mean that you are in the street eating from the garbage bin.
No, 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 no. There are different stages of it. And
Right?
one thing I can one thing I can say to anyone that have a family member that is sick mentally, don't give up on that person. Don't matter if you know if for you you think or he will never get better, she will never get better. I don't think it's fair to that person for you to give up on that person. It's a
Right.
sickness, and for me, the person should still be shown love in that family and still should be taken care of in that family. I don't
Yeah, the
believe.
problem is, Colleen, and let me welcome Donia Mackenzie, who is saying, Mercy people is crazy, don't need the truth, they love lies. That's what Donia is saying. The fact of the matter is, Zimini, I'm welcoming J. Bent and Donia. Donia adds that church members love their pastor more than God. So God allowed this to happen so church members can read the Bibles for themselves. And Charmaine, I don't know if I welcomed you, Charmaine Anglin. So welcome to you, my dear. So
That is true. That
the
is
fact of the
true.
matter is, Colleen, and I have seen it growing up in Jamaica. Nobody no want no madman or associate with no mad woman in them family. So you get mad, however means or whatever the explanation is, they're gonna put you out.
Yes,
Nobody
yes.
ain't gonna claim no madman or mad
No,
woman.
no. And it's not fair. It's
Because
not
we're
fair.
not seeing it as a mental health issue. We're gonna say, oh, I
As a
mean,
sickness.
a lot of us would have seen growing up people throw water upon them, people stone some of them, people
Yeah,
throw box juice, box on them, and a lot of these um and a lot of these people with mental health. Remember one time the mayor creep up the whole of them from Mobile and carry them to Kingston or something. I don't remember
no.
exactly.
I'm from Montego Bay. I remember when I was going to school, the mayor in Mandeville put them on the train, and the last stop was to Montego Bay. So Montego Bay had a lot of mad people that nobody knew where they came from. Because the people that was on the street in Montego Bay, we know them by name. We knew where they're from. But after a while, there was a lot of people there that we never know where they're from or who they belong to.
Hmm.
And they said they came on the train.
So we
A
have
lot,
never really learned how to deal with mad people,
yeah.
as
And
we call them.
another
The
time,
whole fact that
somebody
we
in
call them
Montego
mad
Bay,
people is a
some
problem.
some elected person in Montego Bay. I don't remember how it went, but they took them and put them somewhere so that they could go and kill themselves or drown or something of the sort. But it's not fair because sickness can take anybody, anytime, anywhere, anyhow.
And that is it. That is the point I'm trying to make. I'm trying to make the point that I'm trying to make a case for mental health. Me not really um, excuse what this guy did because
No.
there's a lot of witchcraft involved. But I'm making a case
Wow. You
that
sure?
we oftentimes we ignore mental health to the point where it gets out of control. And when we can't control it, these people can dabble in things sometimes where, you know, if this guy is styled as mad by his family and the whole of them reject him, and then him go start church and the whole of them start love him and praise him, then obviously him a go find or build an empire where he is the king. You understand me?
Yes, yeah.
Zimine remembering us, so please thumbs up the live as you come in, guys. If you're here for the first time, please hit that subscription button. We appreciate you and let us know your thoughts. Donia is saying thank you. Let us know your thoughts about mental health, or as we say, madman and madwoman. I'm Zimine says,
But
Charlie,
there was a in an American man took some people to Guyana in South America, and he had them. It was a cult, and he started off as a church and followers, and he had the people give up what they had and took them to Guyana, and
but
there he
a lot of these churches start off
yes,
as good,
and then
normal.
he killed them. He gave them something to drink and killed them. So when the people were when he realized that he was under investigation, so a few of the people had escaped, but so it's not the first time something like this happened in the world. It's something it's something that does happen. But I remember when I was going to church in St. Martin. I raised up in the Catholic church, and I stopped and I was going to Pentecostal church. And the pastor, she was a prophet, and she said, some people treat her, so nice. And she went on the pulpit and said, I don't want those kind of treatment from you, from anyone. I don't want anyone in here to worship me. I want you to worship the Lord, because if you start to worship me, God will deal with me. And I don't want God to punish me for you. We are here to worship the Lord. We are here to love the Lord. If you want to give me $100 in my hand, consider a sister with 3 children and no documents and nowhere to live. Give her the $100. If you want to give me grocery, give it to another sister that need it. Maybe your neighbor self need it, and that is Christian. That is the love of God. So she bashed them in the church that was bringing her big gifts and all of that. She bashed them with it and
But
tell them, no,
we know
you,
say one of the
you
things
will
that
make me get
people
problem with my God. And she
for
wasn't about to do it.
let me read some of the comments. J. Ben says, possible delusions of Gonda. He may really believe he could raise the dead still. That's what J. Ben is saying. Zimian saying, I'm too much cassava because Charmian said he's from Cassava River in St. Catherine. Charmian saying, thanks, Eddie. Um, just a minute. I think this jumped. Jamaica Meets Ivory Coast says, Zimilian, it's a lonely road when you think no one can relate to your struggles. The best thing I ever did was talk about it before it completely consumed me. That's what Ivory Coast is saying. Zimilian, you're too funny. Zimilian says, yes, my dear, when I talk, I feel a lot better. I was in counseling for 4 years now, but now I'm doing a lot better. I might have missed one of Zimilian's comment, but she was talking about her struggles as well. Indra is here. Colleen Zimmerland says you're talking about Jim Jones. Charmaine,
Yes, yes.
Indra says pleasant good night to John Fritz and everyone else. Big up yourself, Indra, Chance, Boris. Hope you're well. Egg King is here. Golden Egg King says nice to be with you. I support you. Thank you so very much, Golden Egg, for stopping by. Remember the thumbs up, guys, as you come in. And if it's your first time, please hit that subscription please hit that subscription
Button.
button. Um, Jamaica Meets Ivory Coast says Jim Jones. So they're saying that you're talking Jim Jones. The pastor took a page out of Jim Jones's book. I need to
That's
read the story of Jim Jones because I'm not familiar with it. Welcome, Golden Egg TV. Please
I
thumbs up.
think there is even a film or a documentary about it.
Donia says, tell me a little about Jim Jones, please. I was just telling my neighbor about the incident in Jamaica, and she told me about Jim Jones in California. So I don't know. I'm not familiar with it, but if anybody knows and wants to come up and let us tell us, feel free. Yeah. Of course, I genuinely think that he thought that he could raise these people from the dead. Even the people, the guy who said that I didn't see your comment at all, Z-Million. I didn't see your comment at all. Um, the guy who, and I scrolled back up and it's not there anywhere. So, I don't know, refresh and see if it's there still. The guy who said that he got stabbed. He got stabbed and went outside and went back into the church to kneel down in front of the man. That's what they're saying. So even though he got stabbed, and even though they tried to slit his throat, he still went back into the church and kneeled down and then get shot. So um, he was obviously still believing that this guy could still resurrect him. That's the extent to which they believe. John Fett getting hungry, so he's losing focus. I'm hungry, yes, I don't know how could the hunger just come down upon me suddenly. We got the live guys. Much love in the house. Thank you so much, Indra. And Golden Egg is saying good morning. I think Golden Egg is from Korea. And Raymond Bless in the house saying greetings. Big up yourself, Raymond Bless. Zimin, I have a spanking for you. Raymond asking why. Yeah, so some pastors will tell you, okay, they don't want the gift. But Carly, and me know, say a lot of the churches today are concerned about one thing, and that's money. Money, money, money. They call it what I call it prosperity gospel and prophetic and whatever. But a lot of them is concerned about money. And the point I'm trying to make is that even in church, you have people who have mental issues. You have people who are struggling with mental illnesses. You have people who we can consider as mad who are in the church. Just the same, like in any organization. And I'm trying to say that um, what we call mad, or what I am calling mental health illness, they not have no face.
No.
You can have a prime minister who has mental illness. You can have the president who has a mental illness. I mean, look at the last president of the US. Many people thought that he had mental issues. And when we say that but mental illness, I mean, I try to get it in our people's head. When we say mental illness, it don't mean say you go walk the street. And I mean, me know people who in my circles who could have said that they have mental illness based on how them react and based on how them interact with people. You could say, but no, that's not a normal way to react with somebody. You understand what I'm saying? So thank you for the super chat, Raymond Bless. He's a content creator, guys, so you can check out his channel as well. Donia says, she was saying James Brown, he killed some black people. If you wanted to get rich quick and open a church and say you're a prophet and the devil will work with you. That's what Donia is saying. It's true. A lot of the churches, and it pains my heart to say it, but a lot of the churches are concerned with what. Remember one man in my church, and he had me I try to avoid calling the people them mad tonight. He had mental issues because he used to go grab up the people them and start roar like I'm a lion and so. And not one person in the church thought that that man was right. So if somebody came to visit the church and see that the man in action, they would have said the whole of it down their court. You understand? He used to just grab up the people them neck and start make a sound like a lion. And we would be like, why is this man behaving so mad? Like he would have just do things where no make no sense whatsoever. You understand? And we all knew that this guy had an issue, but nobody now go take out nobody out of the church and say, oh, we have a church brother who is mad, so we are going to carry him to a hospital or No, because the church is supposed to be powerful and have the Holy Ghost. If somebody mad, we supposed to can cast it out. You understand? Donia is saying, she was saying, Jim, oh yeah, I think I read that. Anybody interested in travel and lifestyle vlogs can connect with Zimmerman's channel. Yes, Jamaica meets Ivory Coast.
Yeah, I just wanted to touch on the lifestyle of the pastor, because it would even touch on the Jim Jones story,
Yeah,
which I strongly suggest that you review that. It's basically he had, and these cult leaders are always very intelligent, you know,
right.
very intelligent people, where they're narcissists, they have narcissistic behaviors,
Yes.
psychotic behaviors. So they know how to really get people hypnotized, if you want to say that.
Mhm.
And he took a whole bunch of people, it was hundreds of people, you know. He got their trust. He even got them to sign over their pensions to him. He was sleeping with everybody in the congregation. He became the god, that
Yeah.
godlike image, which what Kevin
Yeah.
basically looked like he had. And you had Kevin, who had people kneeling in front of him and like just worshiping him. And that's how that mind control goes in, where nothing anybody could tell you, they'll believe you, because they're just so charmed by this individual.
Right.
And when in the States, when they realize, officials realize that, hey, there could be a cult here developing, he said, I have to get out of here. So he took them in the bushes of Guyana, um, where it was very secluded. And these people took their families, they sold their houses, and these were, professional people, very intelligent people who believed in his word. And they gave up everything, moved to Guyana in the middle of the bush with no sanitary equipment, just living like squabbles.
Yeah.
And apparently, um I believe the FBI found out that they were in Guyana,
Mhm.
and a congressman got involved, and they found out where they were. They went to the place, and they noticed, of course, it was so unsanitary, and it was definitely a cult. But you can't force people to leave. And I guess a couple people were leaving with the congressman, because even the congressman was killed, right? And when word got back to America, and when they were able to actually go back to Guyana, it was too late, because he gave them poison to drink, and he videotaped everything. You could actually hear babies crying out in pain after taking the poison. And the thing is, he didn't take the poison; he shot himself.
Right.
And it was such a sad moment. Like they have a aerial footage of them coming to Guyana in a helicopter,
Mhm.
and the reporter said at first, looking on the ground, they thought it was pieces of clothes just littered all over the place, and as they got closer, they realized it was humans, you know and this man
Good.
shot himself. And when I see Kevin, I mentioned that yesterday. He reminds me of the Jim Jones story, where they're always psychotic, and they have the same tendencies
Yeah.
that should be identified, but that's only identified through diagnosis with mental illness. You know,
There you have it, guys.
I know I didn't tell it right, but guys, go watch it. I know I
No,
just went all
it
over the
gives us
place.
an understanding into the whole situation. Somebody says, Indra says, remember, um, oh, sorry, I might have read that already. Oh no, hang on. Okay. Remember that the Bible, Indra of Chancellor says, remember that the Bible says that men will become lovers of themselves. So a lot of them will gravitate to money because of greed and do anything for it. And Charmian says, yes, Jim Jones was an American mass murderer, cult leader, preacher. He committed suicide in his remote jungle commune in Jamestown, Guyana, November 1978. For the love of money is the root of evil. That's what Indra is saying, and that's Indra's link. So you can connect to Indra guys. Um,
So why does the pastor have to have such a lavish life compared to?
because it's what it's what they call prosperity gospel, and what they're saying is that not because you're in the church means that you should struggle. The earth belongs to the Lord and the fullness thereof, and so you need to live big. That's the bottom line of this prosperity gospel.
Okay, so I have a an experience with a pastor who when he became the pastor, he had a full-time job. But then when he became pastor, he quit the job, right? And said
Yeah,
that the ministry is going to pay him. Um, throughout the years, he wasn't the best pastor in the world. So, the congregation dropped dramatically.
yes,
And they had a meeting with him in regards to, um, you know, the bills and his salary. And, they looked at everything where they could cut costs. And the
right,
only thing that they could cut was his salary. Mind you, all he did was drop his wife to work in the morning and then he'll head to the gym and work out,
yes,
and then come and, pray maybe on a Saturday and yes, a Sunday, right? So $3,000 a month for a couple of days. And when they told him that, look, you are the leader of the flock,
hmm,
you have to lead by example. Can you at least take a pay cut? And he said before he get a pay cut, he's leaving.
wow,
So, when you have these experiences where, you know, first of all, why did you quit your job? Because didn't Jesus, wasn't he a carpenter? Didn't he work as well? Like,
yeah. And
what?
even Paul was making tents because he said he didn't want to be a burden to the church.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. You look at the congregation and you look at a lot of people who can't afford a lot of things and they're still making their contribution to the church, and the pastor is living,
A lavish
lavish
lifestyle.
life,
And I mean, it becomes so, and then they're saying that if you don't have the same amount of money, then it's because your faith is not as strong. So it becomes a situation where um, you now are thinking, oh, your faith is weak, so you need to believe more and you need to sow a better seed and make a bigger contribution because you need to reverse the curve. That is how the manipulation um, takes place.
but that's in the majority of the churches that I'm seeing.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Most of the churches have um, moved towards this prosperity gospel because that's what's bringing in the money. That is the message that is bringing in the money. That's the whole point. If I can tell somebody that you need to sow a seed of 550 US dollars and you're going to see how God is going to change your life in the next 2 weeks, then you are going to sow that seed, especially if you believe in the ministry or if you see other people getting prophetic word or if you see other people getting healing and supposedly deliverance. You're going to want to to um, to to pay into this gospel.
Yeah, but while you're paying into the gospel, you're not actually, because God helped those who help themselves, right? You see
They're
other
saying
people.
that your faith is not strong enough.
Wow.
So that's the whole. It's a whole manipulation thing,
Yeah.
right? I
Yeah.
mean, I'm not saying that because you're in church that you should um, be worse off than people in the world.
Hmm.
So I do believe to a certain extent in the prosperity gospel, but to the point where I think that it has to be um, your belief, or it cannot be a forced thing where you are almost paying for that blessing.
Right. Yes. Yes. Because don't get
It,
me wrong, I do believe in the pastor, um, of course, being taken care of. And I
yeah,
do believe that the church needs to be taken care of as well. Right. So there definitely has to be some monetary donations in regards to that. But it's really sad to see, Even in the pandemic when, the churches were supposed to take in people. And I
Right.
remember Joel Osteen said he's not opening his doors for
There
that,
you go.
and those are the things that people have to really think about.
There are a number of things that many people won't
One
understand.
minute, 1 minute, I will say, let me say something. I remember um in 2016, this girl, she was struggling, and she's here studying and working, but it's not it as a student, it was not easy for her, and that was 2016. And her documents to live and work here wasn't so strong. It
Yeah.
was a very rough time for her, and she always give money to the people on the road.
Hmm.
She always give money to the people on the road. She always try to give, not a dollar, not $10, $20. She always does it. And I heard Joel Austin said, "Do not give the people on the road money because you are putting your money into poverty."
Hmm.
So because of that, you are attracting poverty to your life. The money is to for you to use and for you to sow in the church. And I said, wow. And you know where this girl is today? She has a French passport and she
Hmm.
own a house.
Hmm.
Not this year, last year.
So what are you
Last
saying? Goldstein was wrong or right? What are you saying?
what I'm saying is that these people are on the road. If you give them a dollar, what it's gonna do for them? Nothing of such.
Right.
Maybe in a day they maybe make a 20, $30. And
Hmm.
for a pastor to get up and say, don't give them your money, it because it entertain the spirit of poverty, it sounds so out of the way. So now
Right.
that you're saying he said he wouldn't help people during the pandemic, it's not strange to for me because it is not. You have some people that they are not for a thing and they are not for it. It is not for poverty. If you like poverty situation, don't is not for it at no time.
Hmm.
No, no. He like prosperity and money and things looking beautiful. If
Well,
it's not, he's not into it.
that's the
And
thing.
that's how he is. But
In the US, okay.
what I'm
When you
saying
go
is
to
that
Jamaica,
yeah,
go on.
my friend here, I said, look, and I reminded her of it, and she still does it. Always have something in her coat to give to somebody on the road. Always, always, always. So if you have a heart to give to the poor, give. If you have a heart to give to the church, do what you have to do, but don't do it for the pastor. Do it for the house of the Lord, because the house of the Lord needs to be kept. The electricity have to be paid. The water bill have to be paid. Maybe the property taxes have to be paid. Left to the country that the church is in. It need to be kept. It need to be painted. It need to be clean. You understand me? Maybe you have staff there working. So if you feel that your blessing is in giving in the house of the Lord, do it. But don't for the people like on the road, living on the road, don't go against them. And when you hear somebody like Joel Osteen speaking, he was never poor, he was never in a situation of poverty. So
Mm,
you have to see with him.
true.
You
Well,
have, you have
I mean, there
to see
was a
with
big outcry when Creflo Dollar said he wanted 60,000. How much 60 million for buy a jet?
wow.
People don't understand that.
No. And more
Yes,
than he wasn't the only pastor that said it.
by the sweat of your brow you shall eat bread, says Indra.
And
That's the
they did
total
get
man
the
of
money
God.
to buy the jet. They did get the money to buy the plane, huh?
But that's the thing, they get the money easily.
Yes,
Whatever
they
they
did
want,
get
you
the
get it
money.
quite easy.
Yes, they did get the money to do what they need to do to carry out the work of the Lord. You know, the Bible said we must never judge a pastor.
But you
People
say you have
that
to
are
test, you know, if you judge a pastor, but you have to test the spirit. So no matter with it,
we
cause
must never they are not for us to judge. They are for the Lord to deal with them. Because the day of reckoning, he will say, "Get behind me, you workers of iniquity." And they will say, "Oh, but I cast out demons in your name," and what and what. They say, "Get thee behind me, Satan."
comments by the sweat of thy brow, man shall eat bread. Some of the so-called men of God has become lazy and dependent on the flock. The word of God is
That is
free,
true.
the freedom of captive. Donna says that Pentecostal lady, a friend of mine, shared a loving story like that with me about her pastor's wife in 2019 from St. Catherine. She gave away the gift to the needy members in the church. And Indra says, Jesus came to save the lost. He didn't pick and choose. We must be careful of what we listen to. That's what I said to Indra. That's what I say as well. Uh, we, I have a really big problem with I guess because I'm thinking that when Jesus came, it wasn't just about the money. It was more about the gospel. It was more about transforming lives. And
Yes.
these people, it's all about the money. A lot of the, and even some of the genuine churches have taken up this practice where they are now doing all these money talk. Some of the normal churches are doing it as well.
Mm.
Anyway, we're gonna wrap up now. So your final thoughts, Colleen and Karen.
You said it is in the Bible. These days we will meet up with a lot of people that come to deceive us in every way, shape, and form. And we have to check the spirit. We have to have a discernment of the spirit to know what we are getting into, because we need Jesus, and we need Jesus now more than ever. And we don't need to be scammed in the spirit.
Hmm.
We the world don't need that no time. That's what I have to say.
Thank you, Miss Karen.
um, I didn't want to sound like I was, negative or anything in regards to
No,
the
not at all.
questions
Not
I
at
had
all.
to ask. And the reason being, like, when I see those people who are so led astray, I can't wrap my head around it. How,
Yeah.
and it does say some of them are going to be blinded, and you have to really be true to your heart and know the Bible. I am not an expert in it, but I do know my spirit will tell me when something does not feel right,
Yes.
to talk about it.
It
And
can't be done. I think maybe this is a good thing. Even though it's not bad and so many people have lost their lives and so many people are going through traumatic experiences, but it's probably the wake up call that many people needed as well.
mhm, mhm. Yeah, definitely it was a eye opener. And I think, as one member said, it's not the first time that it's been done, referring to Jim Jones, but as Jamaicans,
Yeah.
I believe we always had this certain pride and this
In
certain way of
our,
life,
yeah,
and to
especially in our Christian
Christian
heritage.
community. Yes,
The
so
fact that we have so many churches and,
yes, so it's just a time to be vigilant and, you know um be as close as you can, and know what you're dealing with.
Amen. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us tonight again. We're not staying on too long tonight. We're going to be live again tomorrow. And Saturday, we're going to be playing Jamaican quiz, cultural quiz. So please come on out and, sorry,
Bless you.
Mr. Attack. Oh my God, he's probably going to be the most Googled name in Jamaica. And you know what? I've seen it in the foreign press now. I've seen it in the UK Mirror and some of those big newspapers. So the word is getting around. J. Ben says, very interesting discussion. Really hope this is not brushed under the carpet. I think we have to hold the authorities accountable to get more information. We're yet to hear what has happened to the drivers of the truck. We're yet to hear what has happened to the drivers of the other car. We don't. There are many unanswered questions. Um,
But do you hear that they can't find the body? The lawyer is saying that they can't find the body.
my understanding is that was fake news.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Daniel is saying the Bible said to test all spirits and hold fast to the truth. Bring a Bible to church and search the scriptures for yourself. Donna, people don't read Bible no more. They bring their iPad. Indra says, I told you that I am an evangelist and don't know what Bible some of these so-called ministers are reading. But may God help them to get another true encounter with him, says Indra. And I absolutely am with you there, Indra. But sometimes, I mean, if you listen to many of the sermons, they didn't have anything to do with Bible. It was just prophecies. I mean, if you, even this ark thing. But I wanted to make the point that a lot of us are laughing about the whole ark situation, but there are other religious groups in Jamaica at the moment who are in the mountains waiting for chariots to come and pick them up and stuff. So um, it's still, many people still do believe it. Indra, you would be most welcome to join me one night. Absolutely, would appreciate it. So, I mean, we have to look into some of these other groups. There are some Rastas who are waiting for the chariots of fire as well. A lot of things that are, you know, going on. But guys, try to keep true to yourselves. Um, we never know who to trust these days, to be honest. I needed
But
to know.
Eddie, do not interfere with Rasta people, you know, because you have to go Jamaica and mind anybody come for you. Huh?
No man, they ain't gonna come for me. But it is. I'm not saying anything that is not true, huh?
It don't matter true or lie.
But
The truth is always an offense.
yeah, but well, I mean, they said it because
People
remember,
don't try to cover up lie, you know. People try to cover up true.
well,
So
they will tell you themselves. I have the videos here. Um, of them interviewing the Rasta community, and they were saying that they're in the mountains, and some of them are waiting for the chariots, and they have seen chariots in the sky, um, circling, and it's going to catch them up in. Yeah, that's what a lot of them believe. That's why they settle in the mountains, up in the Blue Mountains, and stuff like that. I want to get a Rastafarian on the show one night because a lot of us don't even understand what these people believe in.
mm.
So I want to get one. Anyway, 14 people on the live. Thank you guys so much. This was John Fett Live. See you guys tomorrow. Thanks, Colleen and Karen, for joining. Zimina said them smoke too much weed. Now go get one. I want to do a special Rastafarian and let us question them and ask some questions and learn some more about, you know, their beliefs. All right, guys. Thank you very much. This was Jam Fett Live.